Too lazy to do it.
Are we only on YouTube tonight?
No, we'll be on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so the light is green. For the night is dark and full of terrors.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. All right, we're live. We're going to cue the intro. What's going on, boys and girls? It's time to do this thing that we do.
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALK After Dark.
That's right. Just when you couldn't get enough old guys talking about old things, they're back twice in one day. We're exceeding our quota. It's time for CoCoTALK After Dark. Woohoo! And we're here. We are here. And the most important thing is that Nick Marota is here. Nick Marota.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
Nice to have an After Dark after a little hiatus.
Mm-hmm. So we're here. Mark Bosley is there. Hey, Mark.
Hey, hello, everybody.
How are you? And from New Jersey, Tom C's in the house.
Hello, all. How's it going?
Hello, you-ho. We're doing all right. We're here. We're live. This is unplanned. This is unadvertised, unpromoted. You know what it is. So we just pulled the trigger. We've gone live. Somebody might discover that we're here. They might discover. They might not. They might care. They might not. And you know what? I don't care. That's all right. But we're here. It's After Dark. Somebody decided that this was important for us to do. Hey, Tim Franklin's back. Hey, Tim. Tim says, Happy Easter. Hello to you, Tim. Happy Easter to you. Almost. It's Easter's Eve. Right, so tomorrow is when you wake up in the morning and you go under your Easter tree and find the Easter presents or something like that. So, do you guys have plans? Anybody have plans for Easter? Anybody visiting family? Anything like that?
No.
Doing a church thing like normal because I run the video and stuff there. And then tomorrow evening I'm going to my friends for dinner, Easter dinner.
So Easter dinner. Yeah, we're going to visit my aunt. Down south from us a little bit. We usually host Easter at our house, but we've got issues with our floor tiles right now. Floor tiles are like making these pyramid shapes. So instead of being flat, they're kind of like peaking, and it's really weird. And we've got large portions of our home that we really can't walk through. So it's not ideal to have a bunch of people in our house. So Tim Franklin says, I'm going to the Sisses. The Sisses. All right, Tim. Excellent. Well, we're here. Tom. Hey, Tom, are you going to show the world now that we're live what you were showing us down in your basement, all your arcade stuff, or is that you going to save that for another day?
Well, I mean, I could just give you a quick peek of what's here, but like I said, I mean, it's not really set up for a full-fledged presentation.
Well, give us a peek and show us, for the people who are not on Discord, show us your new controller thing that you're working on too, because that looks pretty cool.
Just give me a second here. Figure out what I'm doing.
What are you doing over there?
Here's what we're doing. We're creating what I call a MAME pedestal or MAME control panel, standalone. Eventually, will connect to the flat panel that you see over yonder.
Okay.
Of course, I'm going to wreck stuff, but here's the control panel that I've been working on.
Wow, I love the recognizer artwork. You've got a stick. You've got 6 buttons there. In the middle there, that's a roller ball.
Track ball that will light up when it's done.
Okay, another stick, 6 buttons.
Stick and another button with 6 buttons.
There's your player 2 button. That's insert coin and then player 2 start.
That's correct. And then same thing over here on the other side. We got player 1 and
insert coin, player 1 start. And so player 1 and player 2 both have a turn wheel. Is there 2 turn wheels or just 1 turn wheel?
No, just 1 turn wheel.
Okay.
Just one turn wheel.
And then you have the flight stick with the trigger too, like Tron had, right? So
correct. Yep, the trigger stick just like with the trigger on. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's pretty good quality. Now those round things up towards the top in the corners, those speakers?
Those are 6.5-inch car speakers. That's where the sound will come from.
Okay. I was gonna say it's either that or an ashtray or a cup holder, so I wasn't sure what was going on there.
Just a cheap pair of kicker. They were on sale for like, I don't know, $39 or something.
All right, not bad, not bad.
So eventually, that's what'll happen. Like when I get it all cleaned out up here, it'll hook to the flat screen you see in the back.
Okay. Hey, Jason Lorbieski has just joined us. Jason Lorbieski.
What's the topic? Dumpster fire?
Yeah, what's going on? It's the kid brother of Richard Lorbieski. Jason Lorbieski is with us today. So, Tim Franklin
stinks.
No, now we have garbage train fires.
So that controller you're working on looks pretty good there, Tom C. And you've been showing off some pictures of that in Discord. Shameless plug for Discord. Nick Marotta saying hi, chat room. Tim Franklin says retro gaming is getting popular. Went to Micro Center today, and they have a new section dedicated to home brew arcade machines. So I guess people who are building their arcade cabinets or their MAME cabinets or whatever the case may be. That is kind of cool.
Well, with RetroPie probably, right? With
RetroPie,
made it a lot easy.
Pie.
Pie.
I have a retro pie somewhere.
Pie.
Punch and pie. Yeah, speaking of pie, there is a new image of CoCoPie that I would like to download and take a look at. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I've been in the middle of kind of reorging. I don't know if you guys can tell that what's behind me is different now because I'm at a completely different angle in my room now. So, oh yeah, so Tim says they were selling the buttons, the RetroPie, and the lights. Wow.
Now, do you put Cool Whip on your RetroPie?
Cool whip. Cool whip. Whip. Like Will Wheaton. Cool whip. So, yeah.
You're eating hair.
Yes. So good show today, guys. I enjoyed that. Oh, we got 1 like on our emoji meter already, so that's good.
What, the rest all angries?
Yeah, there are no other emotions right now, so we got 1 like, and we got a couple of viewers out there. Did anybody, by any chance, share out the Facebook live feed over to the CoCo page, CoCo group? Because I have not. So just in case somebody ran... Oh, there we go. I just got a like showing up on the screen. So that's 2 likies.
It looks like it's there. I'm looking at Facebook, and it appears to be...
Is it in the CoCo group, or is it just in the CoCo... No, I'm talking about the TRCD CoCo Facebook page. Somebody could share out the stream from the CoCoTALK page to the CoCo group page, just so...
That sounds complicated.
I see.
Yeah, it's very complicated. That's CoCoTALK. Okay, so that's the CoCoTALK page. If you could click on that video and then hit share, and then share it to the TRS-80 color computer group. We'll get through this. We're a support group here. We can do this. Friends don't let friends not share.
Why we can't have nice things. There we go.
CoCoTALK. After Dark. Oh, Tim Franklin says he could be bribed to give a like. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm still trying to... Oh, there it is.
I shared it. I got it.
Okay,
Jay,
good.
I
I'm
got
trying
it.
to find the right button.
Yeah. Press the button, Frank. Yeah, so that's Facebook Live reactions, live subscriber notifications. All right, so we got this stuff going on here. So I think we should be good. All right, we got two likes now. So we're really climbing the charts here.
A new
There's
record.
one more.
All right.
There's one more.
Cash them in.
That's it. Cash those likes in. All right. So
Oh, is there a deposit on this now? We in Michigan.
it's like a pop bottle, right?
Yeah. Pat.
Pop. Oh, we just got an angry. Ooh.
What?
We've angered someone. All right. We got a angry and a sad at the same time.
Anger
We got
leads to hate.
yes, hate leads
Don't
to
be
fear. Uh-oh, Jim Brain has joined us, I think. I'm not sure. It's dark. Jim Brain, you got a copy on us?
I might.
There you go. We hear you. We don't see you. It's dark.
He's in the witness protection program.
I am indeed.
Wow, the emojis are just popping up like crazy. So there we go. It's getting out of control now. All right, this is what happens. You give.
Apparently, Facebook's the place to be.
Oh. Well, other than Jim Brain's opinion, I think the show was halfway decent today. I don't know about you guys. So
There's a lot of content to catch up on.
yeah.
I think it was 49.8% decent.
Which is like 49% more than it usually is. So we are climbing the charts. Like Arkansas, we're 49th in education. So
Oh,
Jim Brain, are you ready for CoCo Fest?
I am never ready for the shows when they get to be a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I will not be able to work on stuff that's going to put me a week behind because next week I will be unavailable pretty much all week. I am doing a crazy thing. I'm going to Chicago on tomorrow. No, day after tomorrow. Got a hotel. Getting up on the 23rd and going to the River East 21 AMC in Chicago and watching all 22 Marvel movies.
Wow. That's, I don't know. Honestly, I think about that sometimes because I've got most of them.
Yep.
And unfortunately, not all of them are really worth watching a second or third time.
Well, some of them will have to end up taking a nap through.
Yeah.
59 and a half hours. So,
Like,
What are you watching?
so 3 theaters in the United States are going to be streaming all 22 Marvel movies back to back. Starting on the 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then starting in game 4 o'clock Central on Thursday, the 25th.
Well, since you're already going to be in Chicago, you must just hang around and.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. For another week, I got to make my way back because I have a bunch of projects sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
But
Well, they'll still be there when you get back.
that's true.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I kind of feel like some of the early Marvel movies, they were trying to do two things. They were trying to fulfill contractual obligations because so many people had to appear in so many films to meet their contract, and they were trying to crowbar in all these Infinity Stones. And I don't feel like Thor 2 was a necessary 2.5 hours of my life just to let us know there's another Infinity Stone out there. There could have been so many other ways they could have done that. Like even in Guardians of the Galaxy, they showed the Collector having a stone or two. And so a lot of these movies were really just long, elaborate setups to the punchline of, oh yeah, this is a thing that will become an Infinity Stone that will end up in the hands of Thanos, Wasn't a fan of Thor 2. Wasn't really a big fan of Iron Man 2, other than the introduction of Black Widow, which also could have been done a number of different ways. Iron Man 3, also not a huge fan of Iron Man 3. It had its moments. So I don't know. And like, I know they kind of consider the what's his face, the other Hulk movie. They consider that part of the MCU, but I almost feel like that was kind of crowbarred in at the end. That scene with Tony Stark coming in. So I don't know. There's a number of those ones I could live without.
Well, and then so you probably would do best to just stream your faves right before Thursday's opening or whatever, whenever you decide to go see the new one.
Yeah, I feel like once they started getting around the time of like Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, they really started hitting their stride with this. I feel like complete entertainment value, or it wasn't just like a fluff filler movie. So I mean, all and a lot of those now leading up to Infinity War, they really did a good job. Like even Black Panther, that was a really good one. It's like really, it was just 2.5 hour origin story that we didn't necessarily have to have, but it was a great movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is great. Thor Ragnarok, really, really good. That one kind of the Infinity War picks up literally right after the end of Ragnarok. So a lot of these things really kind of got us into high gear, getting us ready for that. But I don't know.
Right. You
Just
need
my
to
opinion.
see. Your fave is Phase 2, I think, which is fine.
Well, I liked the first Iron Man, which really and I liked all the Captain Americas.
Okay.
And I liked the first Iron Man.
Okay.
But there's some of the sequels I just, like Iron Man 2 and 3 didn't like. Didn't like Thor 2.
They did not ask me what the order or the amount of them that was going to be shown, so I just had to decide yay or nay. So
Yeah.
yay on it. But it means next week is going to be pretty much a non-project week. So we'll try to pick it up later in the week and see if we can get stuff ready for the show.
Yeah.
I know Belinda's really excited. She's already got pre-orders. Speaking of which, everybody needs to get their pre-order in, because she was like, geez, do all the geeks just wait till the very end to put their pre-order in, or what? And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. I need the website with the PayPal and the pre-registration and all that kind of
you're
stuff.
right. I told her about that.
I'm spoiled.
Need like
Take
Grubhub.
a hike, I think. Maybe it was something stronger, but I don't know. It's pretty G-rated, though, so.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. Did it have something to do with Marvel? I don't remember.
I do know everybody this weekend is, like, right now while I'm in here, the family's in there streaming, or they're in there rewatching whatever their favorites are so that they can be prepared for the big movie next week. So I assume if my family's doing that and they're not diehard fans, I'm assuming there's a lot of people in the United States that are spending this week and next week.
Honestly, an easy way to catch up is a lot of the most relevant ones are on Netflix right now. So Ragnarok, Black Panther, Iron Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man and the Wasp. So there's a number of them that are on Netflix. Some of the newer ones that will kind of dovetail right into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually liked the first Captain America. I thought that did a really good job, being kind of a period piece and kind of bringing him into the, modern situation. Did I have a least favorite? I don't know. I didn't hate Winter Soldier. I liked Civil War.
Well, they said Civil War, I think, which were the four that were done by the Russo brothers. Infinity War, Endgame, there was, I think Civil War was the third one they did. I don't know if Winter Soldier was the first one they did or not. They said those are the ones, if you've only got a few to watch, or only watch a few, the ones they made were the ones you should focus on. So I agree. I think a lot of people really like Ragnarok as well. I don't think that was not a Russo brothers movie. So don't know.
And what's his name? The guy who's the guy who directed the first Guardians of the Galaxy?
Tim Gunn.
Yeah. So they're bringing him back. I don't remember. What was the deal? Did he tweet something and offend somebody? I don't remember what the hell happened.
It was a really old tweet. It was like years ago, and it was not the best. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was definitely could have taken a little bit more time before he put that online. But it'd been years and years and years, and I think it'd been like 10 years or something. But in the zero tolerance space that those movie directors exist in.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, Disney decided to change course and bring him back. So he's going to do the third installment, which I think, Batista and I call it Chris Pratt, all those folks, I think were really pushing for him to come back.
Oh, that's good.
So, yay him.
Yay. Very cool.
So Marvel wasn't the topic when I got on. So what we were talking about?
I don't know what the hell we're talking about. We're just.
I believe we were talking about $5 ukuleles.
Yeah, I saw that. Today. Remember to buy them all or what?
I almost bought one. Then I went, no. What am I going to do with this?
Hey, pick up a hobby.
Right, really? That's your excuse? I'm not
Well,
going to.
if
What am I going to
Nick
do?
Moretta
You've got an entire closet full of classic computers that you probably never use, and that's your pullback on buying something.
I said I didn't need any more junk.
You're already junked out. Okay.
how many-
Are you coming 2 weeks? Are you coming to the show?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're coming to the show. So what?
Yeah, if Nick Moretta was coming to the show, I would have bought one.
Whatever.
Oh,
If
that'd
you
be
Could
good
have had him
problem.
autograph it.
You're telling me that
$5 would be
you
a
are
good
not
phone.
going to buy anything at the auction because you don't need any more junk. I personally believe that to be an untrue statement.
Yes.
I didn't buy anything at the auction last year, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh no, I have 2 weeks to get rid of junk, so I have room for additional junk.
Well, and so if you get rid of stuff, get rid of a little bit more, and then you can buy a ukulele.
A couple of MC10s to free up some space.
I'm still waiting. Last year at the auction, I did buy something. I bought some sort of weird keyboard thing. I don't know if you guys remember that. I bought it, paid $10 for it. Somebody took it before I got up there to pay. Somebody paid for it and took it. It's like they
Holy crap.
me and took it. I don't know what the deal was. I walked up and I'm like, okay, you got some sort of keyboard thing for me. And it was like a keyboard tester. I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, I wanted to see it. I just actually was curious as to what it was. I desperately did not need it. And so therefore I still as yet have no idea what it was that I bought, but yet never did get. Luckily, did not have to pay.
I didn't know you could get sniped on a bid at CoCo.
I know. It was all done and still didn't get it. So whatever.
So James Jones says, if you really want to start an instrument, get a decent one. Little jab at the ukulele there. Not getting any love. I like your ukulele, Nick.
A $5 ukulele is not going to cut it. You can. If you spend decent money, you'll get a decent instrument.
Well, I mean, I think $5 is probably $4.80. Yeah.
For the ones he showed.
Real good at ukulele, we could not hear. It's just ironic.
It's one of those things where it's $5 for a joke.
I need David. What's his last name? David C. here.
David,
not David Ladd, the other David.
Oh, the other guy, the musician. David.
Yeah, I need him here to defend me.
David O'Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd tell you guys off.
Timberman has joined us, Ron Delvaux. Hey, Ron, good evening.
What kind of a response is, maybe I'll come, maybe I won't, right? Ron Delvaux Ambivalence Association or what?
And maybe I'll win the lottery.
I had a snake in my garage tonight.
There's a snake in my boots.
3-footer.
Wow.
It's a king snake. It's kind of good to have around. But my wife didn't know what it was. And
well, the easy way to tell that is just
she opened the garage door and it was in the middle of the garage.
Looks like he ate this band.
Yeah, we're getting a little bandwidth breakup on you there, Ronnie.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to tell a king snake. You just look for the snake that has a crown.
That's it.
So, did you have to catch your wife off the flagpole?
No, she texted me. There's a snake in the garage. So I jumped up off the couch and I ran out, and there it was. So I just kind of walked next to it and ushered it out, and then it went over into the ravine next to our place. On its way, I took pictures and I got it on my wall.
Nah.
It's a black snake with
the
yellow
pictures,
stripes.
or the snake is on your wall.
Snakes.
One
The
is little-
pictures.
Okay.
King snake.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so who's bringing Diet Dr. Pepper to CoCo Fest to placate the gods?
Everyone.
Yeah, he's going to be swimming in it. I was thinking about stopping off and having my daughter pick up some on her way out, but
I should
don't make me the token person I might forget. I think everybody ought to bring a bottle or two.
Everybody should just bring some. Yeah,
Bring some Diet Dr. Pepper.
Stop at the warehouse club and buy some. And
I think what we should do is throughout the evening on Friday evening, I really think what we should do is make sure he's filled up a new bottle of it. Get him distracted by asking him a question and then somebody
come up and steal the bottle.
because that will annoy so much. I gotta go for another one.
Really? Really?
All night long. And then we could make those stories up of like, that was this shady character over there right by
Yeah.
while you were looking. I think I saw him take it. I don't know.
The Russian mafia came in. It was a hit.
Yeah, but everybody's got to be carrying a half-empty bottle. So no one knows where they're going.
Yeah, I can't believe we're 2 weeks away, man.
Oh, you're not kidding. I'm just.
It's been a long time coming.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, my only project is just to arrive and be there. I'm not trying to. I mean, I will be showing off whatever version of Cosmic Aliens I have, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to get one updated, but I'm not really. Got nothing to show or prove or do or anything else, so it's going to be nice to not have to worry about anything.
Are you gonna bring a misspelled banner this year?
I might. Oh, Kurt,
Same one.
I don't know if you see the chat there, Jim, but Curtis Boyle says he can't join, but Jim, I need to talk to you privately about something. All right, so
Dun dun dun.
dun dun dun. It might be maybe he's going to bring some Canadian Diet Dr. Pepper, kind of like he did with the Kit Kats. So.
Oh, Canadian Kit Kats. Ooh.
And Brian, the music man, has just joined us. Good evening, Brian Schubring. How are you?
Good evening.
Oh, it's like creepy David Ladd.
And that was without the benefit of a change box.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just needs a lozenge.
Yeah.
That's just my mixer.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey just joined us. Hey, Mikey. All the way out there in San Jose, California. So, Tom, was that all the preview we're going to give us? Is just that one controller? You don't want to show off any of your cabinets or anything like that? You're going to save that for a special occasion?
Oh, no, we could do that too, I guess. Like I said,
The cabinets are in the kitchen.
we're just not going to get a. It needs a little work here, but it's a work in progress. But here we go.
I like your propeller there. It's nice. Okay, so there's the neutron thing he's working on.
I happen to have to turn the power on, and the Berserk machine, thankfully, actually came up. So
Nice.
see that one functioning. I had a Stern Scramble,
Nice.
Atari Xevious, Williams Defender 6809.
6809.
Oh, really?
Yep, Stargate 6809.
All right.
Williams Sinistar 6809, and one oddball piece made by Konami that runs a 6809. As far as I understand, out of this
Gyrus.
yeah, this was the only board that that Konami used to make the board set for this. That used the 6809 because they tried to do it with a Z80 first, and they couldn't get the 360-degree graphic going all the way around correctly.
Ah,
So they
okay.
actually used 6809 because apparently it was a faster processor.
okay.
And then over to this side,
Well, we could have told them that.
got a Sega Super Moon Cresta.
Oh, wow.
That's
Super.
functioning. And the Kaido Crazy Climber. That's functioning. And when I get to it, and it's hard, it needs some work. I have all the pieces. It needs some work, but we'll get there eventually.
Tempest.
Empist, yes, Empist.
Yeah. Great CRT.
That's what we're
Vector.
dealing with
Vector
on
Vector
my
game.
project here. So
Yeah.
Great game.
Curtis
there you
says Curtis says you need to replace those 6809s with 6309s, and then optimize the arcade games themselves. Yeah. No pressure.
Double speed Coke, too.
I would imagine if I put 6309s in there, they would still fire. I would imagine.
Yeah, they'd run a little cooler. Yeah, that's neat. How many games used the 6809? It's interesting. Yeah, who was doing some of the ports? Was Glenn Hewlett was working on a port for a while, wasn't he? Glenn Hewlett did the Pac-Man, and then he was working on a Defender port,
Yeah, somebody
which
was
we
working
saw we saw a preview of that last year. I don't know if he's made much progress on there. He did send me a random email sometime, between last CoCo Fest and this CoCo Fest, just saying that he's had a lot of stuff going on. He's been busy, but he's still around. Okay, hey, Jenna has tuned in. Hey, Jenna, how are you? Says, hello, just tuning in while working in the background. So, yeah, cool. I like the new segment that launched today, the Game On segment. That was pretty cool. I like that little project that Curtis and Nick started with the CoCo 3 palette register shift things. That was pretty cool. Hey, Rick Adams has just joined us.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
What about that new segment with Simon?
Simon rolls tobacco.
Smoking.
What's Simon smoking?
It's 420 today, so it was appropriate.
Yeah, today is 420 day, so yeah.
It's just that last week his cigarettes looked a little hand rolled.
Well, they probably are because he has the box of tobacco, so he is rolling cigarettes, but he's rolling tobacco cigarettes. Yeah.
Pall Mall for those playing at home. It's Pall.
Oh, is that what they call it these days?
Yes, it is. Rick Adams, how are you? Thank you.
Hey, I'm pretty good. So I guess I'll get down in the basement and grab a beer if this is going on for a little while.
It's going on. Yeah, you got enough beer for everybody.
Going down to the basement.
Yeah, is that what they call it these days? Yeah.
The dungeon.
Yes, down in the dungeon.
The show that's already in the basement.
It's already in the gutter, so it can't get any worser.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah, can you? What cave are you in right now?
From the basement.
Yeah, from the basement.
Cola.
I'm looking for a decent software mixer to replace the Windows 10 mixer that would create multiple USB buses for different audio drives or audio channels, shall we say.
Sources?
Yeah, for sources and that. Because I definitely need to have something where I can have multiple things going on at a different time and assign them to a different virtual bus. So kind of like a software mixer. Any software out there that will do that?
Honestly, I think I kind of sort of understand what you're asking. I don't know if there's a software answer, but I've been contemplating this myself. One of the things I'm thinking about getting sometime down the road is I'm actually going to get a physical mixer that it plugs into your PC via USB, but you can plug in a variety of sources to it. But I like to be able to have sliders and knobs and being able to hand mix things because I don't have that ability right now. If everything's coming through digitally through your computer, it's a single source. So you kind of have to break these things into different sources and mix them. Now, even with the Windows Sound Mixer, if you have multiple applications running, you can individually adjust the volumes of separate applications with your mixer. But what you're asking about breaking things into different sources that are basically coming from software is I want to make sure I get back to the original question.
Yeah, basically what it does, it's a software that replaces the mixer or enhances the mixer within Windows. And what it does, it creates additional virtual audio buses, kind of like USB codecs, and so that you can have multiple sources and assign different inputs to the different sources so that the software mixer can then assign for doing different things so you can run multiple buses at the same time. That's why I got the that one mixer, the Xenix, because it has the USB output on it, and I like it a lot better. It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah, kind of like how editing software is set up.
Well, give me an example of what you're trying to mix right now. What are you trying to combine or mix currently that's running through your computer?
Oops.
Yeah, well, I've got several pieces of software. I have Vocaloid 5. In fact, Steve, if you check the CoCoTALK Live, I did send an email that has something that I created there. If you know what Vocaloid is, it's basically a synthesizer that produces words with a synthetic vocalist.
Okay, synthesize. So it's a software-based speech synthesizer.
Yeah, and you create music with it, is what it is. If you do a search for Vocaloid, Hatsune or Miku Hatsune.
Hatsune Miku. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's what they use for that. I have that software myself. I actually picked it up just last night and was playing with it, and I did something real quick. And I sent it off to you, Steve, so that you can kind of see what it does.
All right, I'm going to pull up my email right now. You sent it to CoCoTALK at CoCoTalk.live?
Yeah, CoCoTalk
Brian
Live.
Schubing, playing around. Is this something I can play?
Yes, it's a WAV file.
Here I am at CoCoTALK, so where are you?
Wow.
Here I am at CoCoTALK, so where are you?
Here I am as CoCoTalk, and where are you? Is that what it says?
Sure does.
Uh-huh.
Here I am at CoCoTALK, so where are you?
Here I am at CoCoTalk, so where are you?
I think it's had enough. I think it needs to be cut off there. It sounds a little drunk.
Yeah, okay. So it just got a hold of Vocaloid and been playing around with it this morning. Attached is a small demo WAV file I put together. Okay, so that's the final product. What did you put into the software to make it? Do you just put in the actual text? You type in the words and it then kind of sings them out for you?
Yeah, it's like it works just like a regular music editor, but the voices are actually VST files of different characters that produce voices as words. And originally it came out with Japanese, but then English and also Spanish and that, but it's pretty big.
Interesting. There was an app on the iPad and stuff a while ago that was called Diddy, and it had a lot of popular songs, and you could basically type in your own words, and it would sing them in pitch to the song. So you could make like song parodies, but it took the words that you typed and it sung them to these different things. And when I was doing that with the kids, this is going back a couple of years ago, we were just in tears laughing on what the crap you could put into that thing and get it to sing. Literally, stupid is as stupid does. It'll sing out anything you put in there. So you could start making up some hilarious song parodies. And it was amazing how it took text and it sang it in perfect pitch to the song, So yeah, some of that area there that they're doing with the software is really quite amazing, I think. So yeah, what does that software cost? That Vocaloid.
What was that?
And what is the price of that Vocaloid software?
The latest version was about $220.
So that would be one of the programs you would be running that you would want to be able to mix that volume separately from other volumes in your computer?
Exactly. Well, what I want to find is something that you create virtual buses, audio buses, and then you can assign different inputs from different sources to a particular bus, and then their buses are separate, and then through the mixer, then you can take and pull all those different buses together that are separate and have it produce one output without bleeding over into the other mix, so that you can actually be doing different things at the same time, and so that I could be doing one thing in front where I'm talking to you, but something else is going on in the background. You can't hear it, but I can hear it here through my speakers if I wanted to do something like that, which is the purpose of a mixer. But you need to have one of the better multi-bus mixers for that. But I'm just looking for something that's software-based that actually works in Windows, so that I can do some of the multiple things at the same time without the audio of one piece of software taking over the input or the output of another one. Because that's one of the problems I was having before, was I was doing stuff with Vocaloid and it was overtaking my USB codec driver, and I wasn't able to take and put anything out by voice. I'd have to shut it off and then switch and then reassign the bus back to Zoom so that my audio would go out.
Okay. Tim Franklin said there's something called Nuendo, Nuendo. I am not familiar with that, but you might want to put that into the Google and see what Google says about it.
Fun.
Nuendo. Yeah, this is, I mean, even now, I mean, I find that trying to do like live broadcasting and even just sometimes just doing game streaming and stuff, I wish I could just mix things up as different sources. And like the challenge with this, like right now, it's by Steinberg, he says, like with Zoom, we have all these people in Zoom, but Zoom is all mixed into one thing, and that's just one volume. So I could change the volume of the entire Zoom call, but I couldn't change the volume of an individual person. So if somebody was coming really loud or really cold, I could, you just wish you had a tactile physical mixing board for the universe as you walk through the world. I wish I had a soundboard with me at all times and a mixing board where I could just kind of real time remix my reality. But unfortunately, we don't always have that. So, but yeah, it's challenging sometimes, like on this group call. There's no way to mix this call and to kind of tweak and balance this call while it's live. It's just one mixed bag of volumes, I
reject your reality and substitute my own.
That's it. So yeah, I mean, I think Curtis, talked about before, like the Twitch show. When they have people coming through Skype, they actually run each person on a separate computer. And they have like 3 different computers, one for each call, and then they put that through like an audio-video mixer where they can do a lot of post-processing and volume balancing on each individual source. Yeah, here you go. See, that's what Curtis just said in the live chat, right? So you almost have to have separate devices at that time to really do that, because in this virtual digital world right now, it's all one source. So these are like first world problems now, right? So I don't remember who I was talking to. You know who it was? I was talking to David O'Connor. There's a little product that I have that's been collecting dust that I want to dust off and bring out, speaking of mixing. But this was a thing that I have going back to the days of Windows 98. It's a thing that's called Mixman. And it's basically it's like 16-track mixer for like live performances, and it looks like 2 turntables, and you have all your little tracks that go around in the circle on the turntables, and you can kind of trigger them and turn them on and off again, and play it. And so you can do it strictly on a computer keyboard with the on-screen display, but I actually had the USB thing with the actual turntables and the pitch bender and the crossfaders and all that kind of stuff. And it was really fun back in the day to be able to just play music and play these loops and tracks and be able to do real-time mixing. It's kind of like you're doing your own DJ thing. So I think that'd be a fun toy to take out and just like do some live streaming at some point in time and play around with that kind of stuff. So we got all kinds of chats going on here right now. What am I missing here in the live chats? Let's see. Nuendo. We were talking about the Nuendo. Tim Franklin says, I used to send stereo buses to my monitors.
Stereo,
okay. And then mix the mains. Tim Franklin says, Nuendo is expensive. It's like $1,000 plus. Nick Marotta.
Mine's not important. Mine's off topic.
Okay. And then Curtis says, or you need a group call app that can adjust each call based on data and source IP address versus the one large chunk of mixed audio. Yeah, that would be nice too. That's a whole nother thing.
The software that I use for my radio station is called Sam Broadcaster, and they have like a less elaborate software package called Sam DJ. I don't know. You might want to Google for that and see if that does what you want. It probably doesn't, but that's just one thing that occurs to me that you might look for.
SAM, like Sam I Am?
Yes.
Okay.
It's by Spatial Audio, not special. Spatial.
Already there.
Spatial Audio.
Yep.
That's spatial.
You're spatial.
I'm spatial.
You're very spatial. You get a vast spatial expanse between your ears. So
Zing.
Oh. Yeah, it's amazing what we do now with that's kind of what I like. Tom C was talking about his mixing setup. Tom uses kind of a hybrid where he's got a really nice digital mixer, but all his sources are analog, so he's kind of got that hybrid thing going on. And David O'Connor, who's using all those analog modular synths, he's got all these variety of analog sources, but then he uses a digital multi-track to kind of mix all them together. So it's kind of the fusion of all these technologies. Kind of. Were you getting ready to say something, Tom C?
Well, yeah, I am on.
There you go.
Yeah,
Gallagher.
You're close. I'm actually using I'm using an analog mixer, but I'm using a DAW to actually record. It's an audio interface that takes the digital signal and splits it to 20, or actually it's 32 ins and 32 out analog inputs and outputs on it that go into an old-fashioned analog board is how I do it. But you were close.
Okay. I hear the Gallagher in the background there.
Yeah, I just got it fired up here.
It was one of my favorite comedians when he would smash that watermelon. It was really cool.
Get your plastic tarps out.
Just to do a little testing, and it looks like the joysticks and stuff are actually working.
Okay, so this is your controller on the main cabinet, huh?
Yeah, and if I go out, there's the track mode where you can pick from the menu what you want to play. So let's see if I can do this with arm's length here, and you go up and down the menus and pick what you want. There you go.
That's way cool.
I'd like the number 7, crispy duck.
There you go. Now we got frog.
Frogger.
Mock duck.
Uh-huh. Looking good. And that's just a regular HD TV you're outputting to, right?
And it's a cheap one too. It's a 40-inch 720p. It's not even a 1080.
The scandal. Don't let the neighbors hear that.
Look what we're playing on it. You know what I mean? Like, do I really need a 1080p to play? It wasn't that good from the beginning, you know?
Yeah, those things were running at like 240 vertical lines originally, right? Everything was like 320 by 240.
Yeah. Well, they're CGA. Most of those older games, they're CGA.
Yeah. Yeah, so all those cabinets you have, those are all originals, right? Those are all the arcade originals with the old glass tubes and whole 9 yards?
Except for the Xevious machine, which, well, if anybody's listening, I'm probably going to get cursed out for this one, but no, the Xevious has a flat panel in it now, and it no longer has the original boards in it because I got tired of fixing them every time I turned it on.
Okay.
So it actually has a computer running MAME in it now, and I put about 60 games in that one that just play on the upright orientation, stuff that plays upright, like with the tube turned the other way. Things like Frogger, stuff like that. I just installed it.
Okay, the tall one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that. I never really have, but I've never tried turning the monitor vertical and trying MAME on that. You got to change all the rotations in MAME and that kind of stuff to get it to play tall versus wide.
Yeah, you just got to change it in the MAME INI file.
Okay.
You just got to change the orientation in there. Just flip the numbers.
Yeah.
And it'll default that way if you have the monitor turned.
Yeah, I might do that.
Use an old Dell computer. I think it's an NEC multi-sync monitor, a 19-inch 4x3 that I found somewhere for $50, and I grabbed it, and that's what's in there, and it works fine.
Okay, and you turn that. You just flip the orientation on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because even all those tall games like Pac-Man and stuff, they were still 4x3 tubes. They just looked taller because you flipped them.
Yeah. Yep, they're all the same tube. It's just whether the tube was turned sideways or left and right.
Interesting. It's amazing what a difference it made too. You just thought you were looking at something completely foreign in the arcade, you know? It was
just turning the TV on its side, basically.
Right. And we got, speaking of witness protection program there, Brian Schubring's got his bright light there. You can actually do some interrogations down there in the basement too, right? Where were you on the night of the 5th?
Been there, done that.
Where were you on the night that the Dr. Pepper disappeared?
Yeah, that'd get old real quick. That whole pitch thing that's happening in your mixer itself, it's doing that?
Yeah, that's the nice thing with that is that it actually has a mixer section in there that you can assign a particular channel to run through the mixer in that. And just it works, just a new toy, just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of my pet projects was to get a Windows 98 box up and running, and I got it up and running, and it's working, and then I just ran into some issues with it. So I think I've got one more machine that will actually run Windows 98 with all the drivers and stuff. So I'm gonna have to build another box, but yeah, little pet project of mine. Besides cleaning up my area here that I'm in right now. So, what's going on here with the screens? Ron Delvaux is come and gone. Hey, James Diffendaffer has been silently. Yeah. What was that? Play it again. Okay, that's that software.
Yep. Yeah, that's I just put that together real quick. Just your name.
Huh. That's funny. I wonder what Alan Huffman's using when he did things like this.
MC10 OG Stevie Stroh.
I mean, Alan, he did something to do that whole...
That sounds like a sound sample.
Well, he made it, though.
He was using Melodyne. We were chatting back and forth a little bit shortly after I sent the email out.
Yeah.
He was wondering what I was using to create the what I sent out. So we were just chatting a little bit. He's kind of interested in that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he gave us all these gems here, like
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALK After Dark.
That's Ron's favorite with the busy signal there. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of mixer he's using.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got multiple buses. A short bus, a long bus.
Invite him on.
I also have a mixer.
Yeah? What are you mixing? Jack
Yeah,
and Coke?
I can show you my mixer.
Vodka and orange juice. Oh, hey!
How many ports does it have?
Yeah.
It has 5 speeds, and then it has the eject button.
Eject, mayday, mayday, eject, she's going down. Oh man.
It's a warning. It's warning without the end. Warning.
Yes, yes.
Put your finger in there.
That's what he said.
Do it. Or tongue.
Do you ever like licking a batter off those things?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't even know the last time I've ever used this. But
I can smell the ozone from here.
yeah, it doesn't. This has been in my cupboard for years. I'm not really. I don't.
Yeah.
No good.
The old school. It smells like that, or like a mixer or an electric drill. They both have that same.
Yeah.
General hardware aroma to them, right? So.
No, the fun was licking the batter off them while they were still running.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Jen is commenting too on trying to. It's really hard to build a Windows 98 box today to find the parts where you can get Windows 98 compatible drivers for them. It's just you can install Windows 98 on just about any machine, but you need like all the drivers. You need like the chipset drivers to get the USB ports to work. You need a particular graphics card that not only has the right driver but supports like all your DirectX and Direct3Ds, and so it's.
We all know people are coming out with drivers for Windows 98 for every new motherboard they make.
They're finding a license that will actually activate.
Oh yeah, well those are easy to get at this point. It was a pretty easy You can get the ISO file. You can get a product key. I've still got my original disk and product key that I've had forever. The one I can't find anymore is Windows 98 Plus, which added more themes and stuff like that. But I think I got Windows 98 SE second edition, which I think incorporated some of the Plus features. But there was
ME if you want it.
Nah, pass on that. Yeah. But so the first challenge is getting the right parts that work reliably, that you have drivers for, getting the OS up and running, because there are just a number of games that don't play well on a newer machine. Even like on XP, there are certain games on XP or Windows 7 that will not run properly. And if you've got a modern PC like a 64-bit operating system, you're screwed, because it just doesn't work. So
can't do 16-bit.
Yeah. So and I've got a stack of my original CD-ROMs of tons of games that I want to play and do videos on and stuff. So I started doing one last night of the old Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. I played that for a little while. That was kind of fun. Those old LucasArts games, I really like playing those. Those were a lot of fun. And Windows Me. Yeah, that was a fundraiser. Windows Millennium Edition was Microsoft needed more money. They weren't able to do anything. What a box of shit that was. So it was not good.
Remember Dark Forces 1. Just that,
Yeah, I have that too.
Paradoxically, I'm not much of a gamer, but that was so much fun. But of course, the fun for me is just exploring this 3D world. It's got all these annoying people that keep shouting at you, stop rebel scum, and they shoot at you. That's not the fun for me. The fun for me is just walking around and going, whoa, look at all this.
Yeah. And modern games that do that in kind of an open world setting are a lot more inviting to explore, but the older ones were a lot more linear, a lot more rigid, a lot less forgiving too. You take one wrong turn, you fall to your death and stuff. So and I found out the hard way too. There was no auto save, there was no checkpoint, so you could be like 45 minutes in and die, and you got to start from ground zero all over again. So yeah, so I had to learn how to hit that quick save button pretty quickly there. So
well, that's what I want to do with that Assassin's Creed that right now is free, is just explore.
Yeah. Oh, it's neat. Matter of fact, the one they released last year, which was called Assassin's Creed Origins, which took place in ancient Egypt, there's an actual kind of like educational mode where it will let you literally like take you through the different parts of Egypt, and not only let you explore them, but it's kind of like being in a museum or like on a guided tour where they're like talking about it and explaining things and the history of this and that and the other. So there's an actual really cool kind of like tourist mode that you can actually explore things in, which is really cool as well. So yeah, there's just certain things, because I like, the weird thing is a lot of these old games, you can buy them on GOG.com, you can get them on Steam, and they will download, they will install, they will run, but you just can't play them because there's things that don't work right. So on this Windows 98 era machines, because Windows 98 was kind of a hybrid, it still let games write directly to hardware. There was not that abstraction layer going on yet. So a lot of the, it was still kind of DOS with a GUI on top of it, but it was, so the way DirectX worked and direct input, a lot of these things were very much still almost close to bare metal. And so even though the software technically runs on XP and Windows 7, it just doesn't perform properly. So
I'm doing some things to get ready for CoCo Fest.
What does that include?
Well, I ordered 10 bomb threat CDs today.
Okay.
So I'll bring those along.
Okay.
10 is my guess as to how many I'll sell.
Okay.
So that was fun. Except the time limit of it's like, well, the shipping for those is more because I have to get the more expensive shipping because I didn't order them.
Oh, it takes about a week. They really take about a week.
I made the same mistake last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably could have gotten away with doing the cheap shipping, but I went the next level up. So, we'll have 10 CDs of that. OmniStar will very, very likely not be ready. All winter I've had a real hard time figuring out the end game for OmniStar, because you win it and then nothing happens. It's like, well, you won. Isn't that nice? Now move on and get on with your life. So it's got to be a little more exciting than that. So finally, after the winter has to be over, because my mind just hasn't been in a good place all winter. It's really been a hard winter, and I'm just kind of weirded out by it. So now it's starting to be spring, and it's starting to get. It was actually 70 degrees today, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get ideas about what that should look like. So I'll be working on that. I'll probably have something up and working by the time of the show, but I probably won't have anything ready to sell. So people can play it, but that's about it. And then I'm getting ready for. I'm not doing any keynotes or talks or anything like that that I know of, but I'm doing a presentation for one of Ron Klein's college classes, so I'm getting that ready to go. So I'll just have fun hanging out at CoCoFest.
Absolutely,
people can play games and just have fun. That's the goal anyway.
Yeah, my plan is I'm gonna finally get to be able to take possession of the Tandy 1000 I bought last year. So I'm gonna see it for the first time.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have my original version of Cosmic Aliens that was written on the Tandy 1000. I'll have that playable for people to play the original version, and whatever the most recent version I have for the CoCo, I'll have one running on a CoCo side by side. So you'll be able to see the original and the current work in progress and kind of compare the past to the present. And they're just going to be sitting there, and that's it. People can play them. If they want to ask me questions, they can, but I'm not planning on being stationary. I really want to get around. I want to mix and mingle and see everybody and see all the sights and sounds and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to be stuck at a table or stuck behind a camera like I have been in the past. I just want to enjoy the experience. So.
And then the other thing I'm working on is a friend of mine has a business, and he has like 3 huge displays in his business, and he wants me to program Raspberry Pis to
neat.
display various things. So I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing right there. So I got like there's the temperature down there and the weather and what's the date and the time and all that good stuff, and when's the next pickup times for when people are picking up mail and stuff.
Oh wow. So digital signage.
So yeah, just digital signage.
Yeah.
So I did that all myself. So that was fun.
That's cool. Very, very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Yeah.
It'll be like a couple years in a row now.
Yeah. 3, I think. So I'll be ready I'll bring pens for, signing cartridges if somebody wants that, that's really fun for me, but it feels really weird because I'm a nobody, tell ya. I know everybody is like, oh, Rick Adams, yes, Temple of Rom, and I'm like, no, I'm just an ascended fanboy,
Everybody's somebody somewhere. So.
Well, that was like what Grant and I experienced at Tandy Assembly. We have these people walking up to us that knew who we were. We didn't know who they were. But it was really nice to meet everybody. But it was really strange at first.
Like a celebrity, man.
Yeah. And so it's weird because I at the first Tandy Assembly, there was a number of people I met that. Again, they kind of knew who I was, and hey, and they told me their names, but because I don't talk to them all the time, it's hard for me to remember names and faces. And then, for example, Rob Inman, who I didn't really know Rob Inman that well, he was at CoCoFest last year. I was like, oh yeah, I was at CoCoFest, and I said hi to you. I'm like, oh, you did? It's like I don't remember. There was 120 people at CoCoFest last year, so it's just like you get to say hi to a lot of people, but if you don't spend more than 2 minutes talking to them, and if it's somebody you don't talk to all the time. It's hard to remember all the names and faces. I think the nice thing about being on Discord now is we're speaking more. We're a lot more connected. So even if you haven't met somebody, you kind of know who they are, or have a sense for who they are. Anyways, at this point. So, but yeah, it was just like one example.
And then when people tell me things like they say, "Oh, I saved my money all summer mowing lawns so I could buy Temple of Rom." It is such an honor to meet you. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, it's an honor to meet you. You just got me right in the feels right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're a very humble guy, Rick, but you're
Well,
talented. You're a talented man, and you're
feel better. I did not mow yards during the summer, and I did not play your games when I was 12 years old. So.
You just bought the thing and threw it in the trash can.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Look, I wasn't into sports, so you guys were my superheroes when I was growing up. The games you guys were making and stuff. So there you go.
Isn't that so? You guys should get a room.
I want an autographed card.
Group hug,
And then-
everyone.
Kumbaya.
And then, of course, yeah. If I know how to do it, it doesn't feel like magic to me. So I know how to do software, but hardware. Well, I actually do understand hardware a bit, pretty good for a software guy. But the guys that are the real super hardware gurus, that are making all the CoCo SDCs and all that sort of stuff, to me that's magic. I'm like in awe of that.
Really?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
He's a magic man. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all superpowers. The guys who can make software have superpowers. Hardware designers, you all have superpowers.
Well, if we had to rely on floppies, we'd be dead. We would be dead. Like, there's no way to.
Yeah, it's true.
Literally be dead. I mean,
okay, the hobby would be dead.
Well, David Ladd would be happy.
I still sell floppies. I still sell floppies with software on them.
But they're going to stop working eventually too, because the magnetic stuff works.
I don't know. I know that. You know that. The whole people who are listening watches that. Knows that. I'm just telling you that I sell floppies. I had to buy the other day floppy disk mailers. You know how hard it is to find 500.
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. Well, they
What?
Oh, floppy disk mailers. You buy that from stuff we didn't think anybody would want anymore.com.
I know. I think that's what. Probably looking at the big box, and he's like, "Should I just throw these away?" No, put it on eBay. Somebody will buy it.
It's rare. It's rare and vintage. That's a double whammy.
I brought in
hard.
I brought in a floppy disk with software on it. That, wanted to. I brought in a floppy with software on it. What was it? It wasn't Temple of Rom. It was like like the Shanghai disk.
Yeah, it was.
I brought it to CoCo Fest, and I read it, and we put it onto a DSK file, and then I took it home, and it was corrupt. So I went to the next CoCo Fest, brought the same disk, we read it again, and that time it read correctly. So I finally got it. So
there you go.
Eventually it works.
I went to I don't know. These stories probably make people mad, but probably about 10 years ago, this stuff was not, expensive. It wasn't. There wasn't a ton of it on eBay. eBay wasn't as, saturated as it was now. And so there's people on mailing lists, and they said, "Hey, whole bunch of equipment. This guy had been picking stuff up through the years or whatnot, and was like, I'm getting out. I don't need this stuff anymore. I just want to find a good home for it." Nobody was picking up. I thought, well, it's not that far away. It's just a couple hours for me. So I'll drive up there and I'll grab all the stuff. So I went over there, and he's got a bunch of junk. Putting it on the trailer, and he says, "Hey, I've got all these floppy disks." And I thought, well, I need more floppy disks, like a hole in the head, but whatever. So he opens them up, and they're colored floppy disks. Remember when floppy disks, you could buy them in lighter colors?
Yellow, red, blue, all kinds of stuff.
That's right. That's right. So I still have them here. I have yellow. I have red, I have blue, and then I have those people who are sufficiently comfortable in their masculinity. I have all the pastel colors. I have
nice.
Peach and orange and pink and all these lovely colors. One of these days I ought to throw them up on the website and say, because I have not done it. I've had them for 10 years. I haven't done anything with them. Some of them are mint in box, still shrink wrap.
Should make a spectrum out of them. Line them up, all the different colors going from dark to light. Make like a rainbow.
Make a huge, art display, like with each floppy being a pixel.
Yeah,
there you go.
Mosaic tile. Yeah.
320 of them wide by 200. I don't even know how big.
Yeah. Or it could be easier to do like semi-graphics, you know. So.
Wow.
All I know is I felt like I was sticking it to the man when I was making my floppies and the flippies. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get twice the use out of this disc.
Hey, you know what?
Or you get a lifetime supply of floppies from AOL.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we used to use the CDs for coasters, but the 3.5. Yeah, you could reformat those and use those again. I'm not.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, CD is the same size as a floppy. You might be able to use CD mailers for floppy disk because that's 5 1/4 inch too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Yeah. These were actually bona fide floppy disk mailers, so I thought, man, pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you have the jacket of the floppy disk, it exceeds the size of the CD.
Oh, with the jacket itself?
Yeah.
I guess
because they're actually 5 1/4 inch floppies, whereas the CDs were just like 5 inch.
I tell you, so close. Today, mailing list. Your arch enemies, the Commodore folks. Somebody posted a question today, and they're in Toronto. They said, "Hey, does anybody have one of those disc notchers? Because I'm getting ready to publish my game, and I need to professionally notch all the floppy disks I'm going to publish it on." So people were like offering up their disc. Remember those? The little disc notcher?
The flippy tool.
Yeah. Instead of just using paper punch, right. I mean, some of us use the paper punch.
Sticking it to the man.
That's right.
That's
Oh, do some target practice and 22 at 50 yards, and they're a punch hole.
Well, it was like $20 for a box of 10 discs, wasn't it? Something like that.
I remember doing that when we were in high school. I remember you could, MEI, I think was the company. You could buy 100 discs at a time. You could get it down to like 50 cents a disc. So you could sell 10s for $5. But yeah, when you started out, they were $22 a disc. And especially if you bought name brand discs like 3M or
Verbatim or one of those other ones, Maxwell House or whatever it's called.
I have Memorex, yes.
Yeah, when I used to work at Radio Shack over in Highland Park, there in the area, a guy who I can't remember what brand he actually produced. He created both 5 1/4 and 3.5 inch floppies. And when I was there, he was actually my source for getting them for like 25 cents a piece.
Wow.
Wow.
For a long time, what was the name of the company? There was one company that was still manufacturing floppies.
Was it Fujitsu or something?
No. It was way past them. No, it was some
BASF.
No. This was after all the brands got out of the business. This was like in the last 5 years or whatever. I'm trying to think of it. Athena, I think, was the name of the company. I think they were based out of Chicago or somewhere. But they finally, I checked the other day, and they've given up too. So now the only place you can floppydisk.com, which is basically old floppies. He's just got
I got a box of new floppies from Amazon. I don't remember who made them. It's an off-brand, but they're brand new in the box floppies with labels and the peel and stick labels, all kinds of stuff.
We're out of China. They were still making them a little while back.
No. Not that I've needed a floppy for ever, right?
Okay, who is my dog Adam who's here now? Hello.
Not me.
But I imagine the floppy drives themselves are hard to come by.
And Grant Leakey's here.
Well, I think everything is, right?
All right, I'm just muting my dog Adam because I don't know who it is and I hear background noise coming from them. So
sounds like some kind of drama.
I had to join you guys. You guys are talking about floppies. So.
I'm talking about floppies, yeah. It's Grant's favorite subject.
So can I tell a story?
No.
Please. Does it have a happy ending?
No. Yes, well, not that kind of a happy ending, but
it's definitely after dark, isn't it?
That's what she said, yeah.
Get your time clocks out.
So I'll try to keep it short. So I worked for West Publishing in Egan, and it was the very first days of the internet, and they had this totally jonesing for Microsoft technology. Microsoft was everything. So we got to learn this internet stuff, and that's why we brought you on board, Rick, because you know something about it. And so we're going to go with Microsoft technology all the way. Microsoft can do no wrong. And we're going to bring a Microsoft guy in. He's going to come. He's going to be visiting royalty. And so he comes in, gets introduced to the team, and this is a story of unexpected fame. He get, they say this is so and so, this is so and so, and here's Rick Adams. He says, Rick Adams, is that the Rick Adams that runs the Colossal Cave adventure page on the web? And I said, yeah, that's me. He says, I want to shake your hand. And everybody on the team is looking at us both like, say what? He was like God come down from heaven, and then he wants to shake. He's like this nobody on the team that hardly anybody's heard on. He wants to shake his hand. Everyone's like, what?
That's cool.
Just a case of being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
I think Brian was down there in the Colossal Cave a little bit ago. It was all.
Yeah, ever heard the echo?
Yeah, I was obsessed with that game for quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So end of story. That's all good.
Good stuff. Oh, here comes the Colossal Cave. Brian's gonna woe us with some echo.
Colossal Cave?
So what's the subject tonight? What are we talking about, guys?
Oh, we've been talking about hysterectomies, Grant. Aren't you getting one of those soon?
No, I'm going through a sex change, remember?
Get
it right.
I don't think I have the stones to go through it.
The topic is, it's just, we're here. We're just talking. Oh,
Hey,
you're muted. You're muted.
If you don't have, you hear me?
We hear you.
Yes.
If you don't have video, you can't screen share, can you?
Yeah, you should be able to. I have to stop sharing in order for you to be able to do that. So let me know if you need to share. I have stopped sharing if you want to share something, Ron.
Let me see if it works.
Ooh.
Can you see that?
Here we go.
Ah,
Yes, we
Sony Windows XP Home Edition, Service Pack 3.
That's what I'm using right now to talk to you on.
Jordan McNitt. Who in the world is Jordan McNitt?
They just pick a name.
Oh, poo, it didn't pick a name.
It did, haven't it?
Registered, too.
Right.
No, that's who had the machine before I did.
Uh,
Anyway, this is a single core.
Scarfing off somebody else's license.
And can you believe it? It booted, this program Zoom.
That's pretty good.
Windows XP.
Yeah.
My internet's shaky though, so. All right, I get out of it now.
Ah.
If I can find out how.
Go down to where it says sharing and hit stop sharing. The green button.
Yeah, and here it's at the top.
There you go. And we're back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Delvaux has Windows XP.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Get your XP exploits ready.
Yeah, there's certain things that are harder to do. Like because when my Windows 98 box crapped out on me last night, I fired up an XP box, and I'm like, all right, well, Internet Explorer is grossly out of date. Let me see if I can get Chrome on here. And even Chrome's like, yeah, well, this is going to be the last update Chrome's going to provide because Chrome is no longer supporting Windows XP. So enjoy this version for eternity. I tried to install Steam, which is the downloader where you get all your PC games, because I had Shadows, one of my Star Wars games on Steam. Steam will install and try to finish running through its auto download and update wizard, but it fails every single time. It says it can't initialize this DLL, so I can't run Steam on XP. So it's kind of interesting. Even on XP now, there's just things that it won't do. Or at least Windows 7 seems to be pretty compatible. Windows 7 will run anything that XP ran, and it'll run, the newer things should still run on Windows 7 for a while.
I think Opera would work.
Opera might. Yeah, I remember when I was teaching a class back in the early 2000s, I did something that was kind of, really hacky for the time. But back in around 2001, you could still get Windows 98 drivers because XP had not been released yet. So around 2001 when I first started teaching, you had Windows 98, Windows Millennium Edition. Windows NT really wasn't used by consumers too much, and then Windows 2000 had just come out. But Windows 2000 was very incompatible with any type of kind of consumer-based applications, you know.
It wasn't meant
so.
for computers.
Yeah. So Windows 98 was still kind of a thing back in the early 2000s. So, and not only that, but on some of these driver disks back in the day when they still gave you a CD-ROM for drivers, I was actually able to get DOS-based drivers for a lot of things. And on this like Windows 98, Windows 2000 era machine, I actually had Windows 3.11 up and running in the classroom. And we actually went through a whole thing where first we installed DOS, and I showed them how DOS worked and how to get drivers working. And we went from DOS, and then we installed Windows 3.11, got that working, got the network drivers working at a DOS level. And we were actually playing like Hearts. Remember Hearts, like Windows 3.11, which was Windows for Workgroups? We were actually able to play network Hearts in the classroom over like NetBIOS or NetBEUI, whatever it's called. And then I found a 32-bit version of the TCP/IP protocol for Windows 3.1. I got that installed, found an old version of Netscape Navigator. What's that?
Trumpet Windsock?
No, it was from Microsoft. It was a 32-bit TCP/IP protocol for Windows 3.11.
Get a third-party one because Microsoft didn't have one for.
No, it was a Microsoft protocol.
Yeah,
and
they
then
did for Windows 3.11.
Yeah, 3.11.
Right?
Yeah. So I had TCP/IP installed, and then I found like an old version of Netscape that ran. So I actually got Windows 3.11 in like 2001. I had Windows 3.11 up and running on the internet, surfing the web with Netscape, and it was like an old, outdated version of Netscape. So that was as far retro as I could go back then.
Remember, this page is designed for Netscape. This page is designed for Internet Explorer.
Oh yeah. Back when you had the little animated GIF in the corner.
Welcome to GeoCities.
Yeah.
Are we part of the CoCo ring, by the way? Web ring?
Yeah. Angel Fire.
Hey, the other day.
Hey, let me run my Lynx browser.
I used Mosaic, which was the first actual graphical browser.
That's right.
Yeah.
In CSA Mosaic.
Yeah. Which Mozilla was based on.
I have a set of disks around here that are Mosaic Communications, which was the name of Netscape before it named itself Netscape. They started out, it was Mosaic Communications, and then NCSA said, hey, you really can't use that name. And so then they changed their name to Netscape. So I have a couple of disks here for 0.9 version, Netscape version 0.9, because we were doing some testing right at the very beginning of when they brought out the browser. It comes on floppy disks, if I remember correctly. I've got it and a copy of OS2 Warp.
Oh, wow.
OS2.
OS2,
Came
right.
with 20 floppies.
I did show the other day. I decided to finally pick up, I'm not sure whatever. Oh, I know what happened to the computer. But anyway, when I was using a classic machine in college up until my senior year, I got a scholarship my senior year to a full ride to school. And so my parents said, hey, we're planning to help you out some of school. So, if you want to, we'll get you something. And I thought I'm going to get on the software development area. And so I really ought to have PC, even though I hated them, but thought, you know what, I'm going to have to do this or else I'm going to be behind. So I went out, I went to, I think it was CompUSA at the time. And they had their branded machines were called CompuDyne machines.
Oh yeah. I remember this.
So anyway, I picked up a 386 SX25 machine. It was a laptop and had a 640 by 480 non-active matrix screen with had a RAM expansion. So I had 6 meg of RAM and a 60 meg hard drive. And I used that machine up until probably 94, 95 time frame. And then finally hard drive went bad and ended up selling somebody for parts. But I found one on the internet the other day. I found 2 of them actually. So I picked them up and I put one of them together here. I got it all set up. It's got, so it's Windows. I reinstalled, cleaned off the hard drive, loaded DOS 6.22 on it. MS-DOS 6.22 with, I think it's 3 floppy disks. It's been a long time since I've done the floppy shuffle, right? And then I loaded Windows 3.1. I have a version. I don't think 3.11 wouldn't run on a 6 meg machine. I think it needed an 8 machine or something. Anyway, it's Windows 3.1, and a name that you guys will all remember to make sure that I had plenty of disk space, double space.
Double space, drive
Double
compression, yeah.
That's right. So then I got it all working. It loads up fine. Had the world's worst placed trackball on the system. Instead of a mouse pad, it had a trackball. And got it all done. And then had my son happened to be home, who's in college, who has only known PCs like from Windows 10 up, or Windows 7, a very tail end of Windows 7 and Windows 10, and then of course Mac OS 10. But anyway, I gave it up there and I brought it up to show it to him, and I said, "Here you go." And he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" And I said, "Well, to load up Windows, you have to type Win, W-I-N, and hit enter." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, these graphics are so like ancient." So he was trying. I said, "See, they have Windows, they have little menu bars. There's a program manager."
Yeah, file manager, program manager.
That's right. Where's the start menu? And I'm like, yeah, that wasn't.
There was no start menu. Yeah.
Windows start menu.
Yeah. When Windows 95 first came out, a lot of people had a hard time with that. So I was like, well, you could still, because it still had the WinINI and the system.ini files. So you could go into one of those files and change the shell equals. Instead of running the command, you could make the shell equal
file
manager or Win Manager, one of those two. Yeah. So you could. Yeah, so you could still make Windows 95 boot up like the old Windows 3.1 interface if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Why do you have to click on start to stop the machine?
You gotta, in order to shut down, click on start.
I had a program called Big Disk that would do the compression.
Yeah,
that's right. I had used Stacker for a while. Stacker was the big one that came out before double space or dry space or whatever it's called. But I mean, that was great because it turned a 60 meg hard drive. 60 meg hard drive. It's just kind of hard to even say that, 60 meg. As I sit here looking at a 500 gig solid state drive and a 4 terabyte spinning platter sitting next to me. But 60 meg was the hard drive size, and you get 120 meg if you use double.
Ooh, double space.
Double space, right? Yeah.
Space you need.
I know.
Yeah.
Who remembers QEMM?
I remember it. QEMM 386. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was always so much fun.
You guys remember running
load high.
Load high.
I had to remember that the other day. I'm like, oh geez, how do you load these drivers up when you get load DOS? And oh yeah, that's right. LH space blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Device high, load high.
IRQ conflict.
Good old days.
Remember running check disk and wondering what you'd have after you were done?
Had to run it just the other day.
Check disk, scan disk, defrag, all those things. Yep.
F disk.
Yeah, this disk was
F disk, F DAC.
Well, I found my Delphi user manual today, so I'm all set.
Delphi, you can go get on the CoCo stick.
Yeah. I actually, as hard as it is to get a Windows 98 proper machine set up, it would actually even be a little bit harder to get like an MS-DOS based gaming setup, because you needed to have the right sound card with the right drivers and the CD-ROM sys and MS-CDEX and, the Sound Blaster drivers. It was a whole thing to get DOS set up properly. And if I had to try to relearn that right now, my head would probably explode. But I remember at the time, you had to do it so much. I had like custom boot files where when I boot up my computer, I had like, full blown every driver for every system, but you had less memory. I had like a low, medium, and high startup config in my menus, depending on what games I needed to run, because some of them needed more RAM. And so I had to disable this driver or that driver from coming. And that was always the thing. When you got to your C prompt and you typed in mem, you wanted to have like 550 of your 640K free, or you wouldn't be able to play certain games. That conventional memory was always the thing, man. We got to like tweak these things to get this thing going, man. It was always such a freaking...
Yeah, there's conventional, extended, and expanded memory.
Yeah.
Then you had to adjust the files parameter.
That's right. Files equals 20, 60 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Russ. All of a sudden, stuff would stop loading.
Load MSCDX.
Right, and then you had your smart drive, which was like your disk cache utility that would speed up your disk access and
RAM drives.
Do you think people would be truly upset if I brought something like that to CoCoFest because I have
not at all.
So I'm trying to clean out machines around here, and I have a Pentium 60 machine, AST Advantage 623 or something. It's a UK machine, actually, PC machine from the UK, and it works. It's fine. It's the hard drive and all that. It's got the sound card you're talking about, the video card and all that. DOS machine. I don't want it. It's just hanging around here, not doing anything.
I might want to take that off your hands since I'm driving.
I will, and I've got a P4 machine here that's kind of it's like a Dell Dimension or whatnot. That used to be my server here. It's been my server for 12 or 13 years, but finally I upgraded to an i7 based machine. I built one finally, and so those machines are just sitting in my box of junk to bring. I was thinking about, I didn't know if it would make any sense to bring them to CoCoFest. I was going to wait and bring them to the VCF Midwest show later on this year because you can bring pretty much anything and throw it in the free pile.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want these things. I just want them to go away.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested. If I can't use the whole system, I'm sure I could use parts of it.
Yeah, I think it's got an actual creative sound blaster.
Oh, those are so hard to find now. Yeah.
All kinds of stuff in there. I'm like,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, me wanty. You had me at creative. Now, if you had a Voodoo 3DFX card too, I would actually.
Is that when
I might have one.
Is that where you had to have a dedicated 3D card and a 2D card?
The first Voodoo was actually a daughter card. It took up a separate slot, and you had a pass-through cable.
Yeah.
Later on, they started integrating them. If you have a Voodoo card, Brian, I would say I would love you forever if I could get one off of you.
Stevie, I might actually have one of those around somewhere. One of the cards.
Yeah, that was something.
It was a Diamond 3D. I might actually have one.
Yeah, the first generation Voodoo 1 was actually a separate card. It went in like in an ISA slot. Your main video VGA fed into it, and it kind of did a daisy chain and then passed through to your monitor. So it like superimposed or overlaid your normal video card with the 3D stuff. Later on, they started doing some that were integrated where it was a primary card. Matter of fact, I think the first one I bought was called a Voodoo Rush, and 3DFX Voodoo Rush, which was still Voodoo 1 series, but it was an all-in-one card. And I think it actually went into an AGP slot, so it was a little bit faster than the one that went in the PCI slot or the ISA slot from the other one.
Did you mention the Matrox?
Matrox Millennium was its own dedicated. There were so many different GPUs at the time.
Matrox Mystique was a daughter card.
Oh yeah. Matrox was one. There was Diamond Multimedia. NVIDIA was around, but they weren't as. There was a time when Voodoo was king in the days of like 16-bit texture maps and stuff, up until in the late 90s. Voodoo, because then Voodoo was they were like poised to release a whole new product line of the 4000 and 5000 series. They were going to support up to 4 cards using SLI. And by the way, that's where NVIDIA got its SLI technology from. They bought a lot of these patents in the bankruptcy stuff. So NVIDIA got a lot better after Voodoo, when 3DFX folded, because they bought a lot of technology patents from them, SLI being one of them, to be able to daisy chain your video cards. But yeah, I remember that the Voodoo 4000 and 5000, and maybe there might have been a 6000 series too, but they were going to support up to like 4 cards with SLI. It would have been, at the time, would have been amazing. What an NVIDIA GeForce could do now would run circles around it, but at the time, that was like mind blowing. To possibly have 4 video cards.
It was hard the other day when I decided I wanted to take this P4. I bought it in 2006 or something. It was used at the time, but it became the server, and I've used it. And finally the drive started hiccuping, and I thought, it's time to build a new machine.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll build from scratch. I've never built one from scratch with brand new components, but I thought, okay, well, like two generations or 3 generations of technology have passed me by. So I had PCI cards. It's hard to find a machine with PCI in it anymore.
Yeah, ISA is even harder.
Well, yeah, I didn't even bother with ISA, but PCI was tough to find. And then, of course, all the drives I had for the old machine were parallel. So obviously SATA is old. I mean, now it's like NVMe or M2 or whatever is really what you want. So, or PCI Express or whatever. So it was hard to find a motherboard that had at least a couple of the older slot technologies that I could use to keep using some of my older cards. I've got some like a FireWire card and something I wanted to continue using, and I'm like, well, I'd like to have at least a few of those PCI slots or something so I can use some of these old cards. But actually, I have another machine here, which is a P2. The one was P2 the one that had the CPU was on a card and
CPU on a stick. Yeah,
that's right. So it's got and it's still got ISA slots. So
yeah, and the first generation P3s were the same thing, using the same form factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still have it. It still has 5 1/4 floppy drives on it, so it can image disk and some of the older DOS programs. But you got to keep one around because you can't even build a machine that's new that's got that kind of technology.
No, Mark's getting ready to whip something out here. What do you got, Mark? Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah, it's a daughter board that I have for that. I think it's a Diamond is what it was. It's in a old Dell flat desktop.
Yeah, there's the PC. There's the CPU. Turn it where we could see the CPU is tall. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that was the CPU on a stick where it kind of slapped into the slot there. The Pentium 2 was like that.
Yeah. This used to be one of our servers.
Wow. Yeah. And look how tall those RAM sticks are too. Is that a RAM stick or is that a?
Yeah, that's RAM.
It's like 16 meg or something.
256 meg.
Okay.
Wow.
PC 100.
Pentium 2.
Early Celerons were in that form factor also.
Mm.
I have a motherboard. I can't remember that. It was a shuttle motherboard, and if you put a Celeron 400 in it, it would overclock to 750.
Mm.
This is a Pentium 3 500.
Ooh. Nice. I think the Pentium 3 maxed out at 1 gigahertz.
So I still have that system under my desk. It's
so what kind of slots does that have?
That motherboard.
Let's see, at least one ISA, handful of PCI.
An AGP over here.
AGP.
PCI and a couple 16-bit.
2 ISAs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, is that an AGP 8X by any chance? Are you balling?
I still have an AMD K62 system here. That's a mixture of ISA slots.
Yeah, I had it
for 4X.
Hey, who let Curtis in? I thought you guys locked the door.
Well, I started cooking pizza for this friend of mine that was supposed to pop by, and he just texted me and said that he hurt his back playing baseball, so he's late tomorrow. So
it would take a major injury to keep me away from free pizza, man.
Pizza, right?
So, yeah.
So I figure he must be dying in a hospital in a coma. Or
yeah, free pizza. You had me at pizza.
I found my answer about those virtual thing. It's VB Audio software. Virtual cables is what they are for, and turn on the machine so you can have buses.
Okay, is that free software or reasonably priced?
It's donationware. You free for one cable. If you set up a donation, then they allow you to have multiple cables going for in and out.
Okay. Interesting. Very cool.
All this talking, all that made me realize that I've got a whole box of old printer, like line printer stuff, printer ribbons and all that. There was this computer place, about maybe 15 years ago that went out of business, and I went dumpster diving. I put a whole bunch of stuff out, including some of the special graphics and IBM emulation cards for some of these line printers.
Oh, wow.
So I've got ribbons, lots of ribbons.
What kind of ribbons do you have? Because ribbons are hard to find for some of the older printers.
I got quite a bit. I'd have to go through my thing. I got a whole box about this wide, this deep, that deep. So it's cables, some adapters and stuff like that, all weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you find a voodoo card, I'd definitely like to take it off your hands.
I've got one in the computer that I'm not using anymore because the computer's not working exactly right. The hard drive failed on it. I was running what was I running Windows 98 in it, but the hard drive failed.
Okay. Well, if you
take it out. Give it to Steve. He wants
I'll take the Voodoo if you want to part with that. If you want to part with the whole machine, I'll take the machine off your hands.
Sure, it's a working machine. I got 2 of them.
Yeah,
bring them. Downgrade that Windows 98 machine to Windows Millennium Edition.
Nah.
Windows.
Shoot me.
Windows 90. Remember Windows 95 OSR2?
Yes.
Well,
First one with USB.
Also known as Windows 95B. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
First one with USB.
Yeah, first one with USB.
What is OSR? What did OSR stand for?
Operating System Release 2.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Wasn't that the one that Bill Gates demoed live and it blue screened on him?
No, that was
that was the original, I thought.
Because he was demonstrating USB and he said, "Yeah, just plug and play it." Whoa.
Yeah.
He shocked the system.
Yeah. So Windows 95, just to give you an idea of when the internet really took off. So Windows 95, when it first shipped, there was no browser with it. If you had to buy Microsoft Plus to get Internet Explorer 1.0, which I remember buying. Windows 95B was the first one to actually ship with Internet Explorer baked into the operating system.
That is correct.
You could buy Netscape too. There was a Netscape Gold.
There was a big deal trying to separate it from Windows, remember?
That's right, Netscape Gold. I remember that.
I got a disc from my ISP, and it had on it Mosaic.
With Trump at once on it, probably.
Which was the browser that Internet Explorer was based on.
That was a browser everything was based on.
Yeah.
Mozilla too.
You notice the part of the name is called Moses, right? So it's like
Yeah.
the Moses of browsers. Mosaic. What do you got? You got Windows 98?
Yep, the original CD.
Okay.
I used to have the Rev B Windows 95, but I think I finally got rid of it.
Yeah, Windows 95B with USB
There's some games that
support.
required 98 or 98 SC to run properly.
I still have a copy of Windows 95 OSR2.
Yeah,
Do you remember? Do you remember the Weezer video on the?
Oh yeah,
disc?
You had Buddy Holly, you had a Edie Brickell video or something like that on there. There was a couple of music videos, and then there was a bunch of those like weird artsy painting type videos. So that the guy he had a lot of stuff going on MTV at the time too, where it kind of looked like sand art, but it was all kind of swirly, painty looking stuff. There was a lot of videos like that. There was
that Buddy Holly video. They kind of Forrest Gumped themselves into an episode of Happy Days.
Yeah, there was a great video.
You guys remember Weird Al's It's All About the Pentiums?
Yes.
Nah.
Oh yeah,
that was a classic.
I've got that music here too somewhere.
Chat room, all the chat room yackers.
Yeah. Codes.
You got your own news group, Total Loser.
Downloading pictures of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I completely missed that song.
Oh, it's
you check out the video. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's hilarious.
Totally get it. All about the Pentiums.
All about the Pentiums, huh?
They call me the king of spreadsheets. Got them all laid out on my bed sheets.
Hey guys, I'm going to drop off there for just a few minutes. I'll be right back.
All right, make sure you look for those voodoo cards before you come back.
I already have it over there. I already see it on my shelf. You could probably see it somewhere over there anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a little bit. I'm installing some drivers.
Excellent. You be careful there, Brian.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Drew Carey was in that video too.
Wow.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He's going over to what was the news group Total Loser?
Total Loser.
Yes.
Which they actually made that news group after the song came out.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's wrong, isn't it? It shouldn't be Alt Loser Total, right? Isn't that the way news groups worked?
Yeah.
Alt, yeah.
That's how they did it.
It was alt name adjective 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 like alt Wesley Crusher die and.
Now, he's the father of a child.
That was the name of the group. I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
No, he's actually a pretty cool guy.
That was back in the day.
That's a fictional character.
So here's
was the loser, but Will Wheaton himself is actually pretty cool.
Here's a modern retro thing I did just recently. So one of my clients is still running a Windows 2003 file server.
Ooh,
and
right.
so and it's like a lot of space issues, so I'm running WinDirstat to see who's eating up who my space hogs are and stuff. So I've got this whole output that I got from WinDirstat showing me who's got the big folders. And so I'm like, all right. And so WinDirstat, the only way you can export anything is you actually have to email it. It won't let you save it. It won't let you do anything. Its only option is to email. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? So I actually was able to get Outlook Express running, which is actually on Windows Server 2003. And I was able to set up IMAP and get Gmail running with SSL encryption in Outlook Express. And Outlook Express does a better job of IMAP than the current versions of Outlook do. So I was like, holy shit, this thing actually works. And I could send this thing from a modern Gmail account. I just had to go in the Gmail settings and use non-secure apps, turn that feature on in the Gmail security settings. But I was actually able to do that just on a Windows 2003 file server and Outlook Express a file out of it, because that's the only way that application would export the data. So
I just posted the lyrics or the link to the lyrics for Weird Al's thing. If you want to check it out, Stevie, I'm sure you'll get a good appreciation out of it.
All right, now this is just the lyrics. Okay, so I'm gonna throw it over here on the screen where you guys can see it. So it's all about the Pentiums. Now, what is the song sung to the tune of?
It's all about the Benjamins.
Okay,
it's its own song.
Okay.
It's a rap
It's all about the Pentiums, baby. Yeah. It's all about the Pentiums, baby. All right. So, what y'all want to do? Want to be hackers, code crackers, slackers, wasting time with all the chat room yackers, 9 to 5 chilling at Hewlett Packard? Wow, this is working at a desk with a dumb little placard. Yeah, paying the bills with my bad programming skills. Defragging my hard drive for thrills. I got me 100 gigabytes of RAM. Never feed trolls. I don't read the spam.
As relevant today as it was back then.
Yeah, installed a T1 line in my house. Always at my PC, double clicking on my Miz House. Upgrade my system at least twice a day. My Miz House. Upgrade my system at least.
T1's the only thing so far that's a little outdated.
Yeah, T1. Upgrade my system at least twice a day. I'm strictly plug and play. I ain't afraid of Y2K. I'm down with Bill Gates. I call him money for short. I phoned him up at home and made him do my tech support. It's all about the penny. You got to be the dumbest newbie I've ever seen. You got whiteout all over your screen. You think your Commodore 64 is really neato. What kind of chip you got in there? A Dorito? You're using a 286? Don't make me laugh. Your window boots up, what, in a day and a half? You can back up your whole hard drive on a floppy diskette. You're the biggest joke on the internet. Your database is a disaster. You're waxing your modem trying to make it go faster. Hey, fella, I bet you're still living in your parents' cellar. Downloading pictures of Sarah Michelle Gellar and posting me too like some brain dead A.O. Eller. I should do the world a favor and cap you like old Yeller. You're just about as useless as JPEGs to Helen Keller.
It's really funny just watching Stevie discover this song.
Yes.
It's been out for 20 years.
Oh my God, this is great.
Are you not a Weird Al fan, Stevie?
Yeah. Not really. I mean, I don't dislike him, but I haven't been following his career since since I stopped watching MTV. Awesome. Yeah. So, logging in now. Want to run with my crew, huh? Rule cyberspace and crunching numbers like I do. They call me the king of spreadsheets. Got them printed out on my bed sheets. My new computer's got the clocks. It rocks, but it was obsolete before I opened the box. You say you had your desktop for over a week? Throw that junk away, man. It's an antique. The laptop is a month old. Well, that's great. If you could use it nice, you can use a nice heavy paperweight. My digital media is right protected. Every file inspected. No viruses detected. I beta tested every operating system. Gave props to some and others I dissed them. Man, this is really good.
He's good with the rhymes.
He is. He's a good wordsmith. While your computer's crashing, mine's multitasking. It does all my work without me even asking. Got a flat screen monitor 40 inches wide. I believe yours says Etch-a-Sketch on the side. In a 32-bit world, you're a 2-bit user. You've got your own news group. Alt total loser. Well, that had to rhyme. So yeah. Your motherboard melts when you try to send a fax. Where'd you get your CPU? In a box of Cracker Jacks? Play me online. Well, you know that I'll beat you. If I ever met you, I'd control alt delete you. That's great, man.
Yeah, you got to see the video's good too because it matches the lyrics.
Yeah. That was me discovering that. Like I just discovered cat videos just the other day. So yeah, I guess I'm a little behind. So
you just get the internet?
Yes, I just got the internet. Just had it installed. So technician had to come out.
The internet, that's on computers now.
What's your AOL handle?
I'm going to drop off, but boy, I'm glad I got to see that.
Yeah, that was good.
Now I'm going to go see the video, and then I'm going to go to sleep. All right.
Thanks for stopping by, Rick. Hey, Rick, I just want to say something before you go. Hold on a second here.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You're too kind.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah. I'll control alt delete you. I'm going to have to try to steal some sound bites from that. Just a few. They can't be too long. But
and Weird Al, to be honest, he's not too bad with letting stuff go on the internet and not filing stuff himself, or he'll actually reverse it if it actually does happen because he's trying to promote. That's how he promotes now.
Yeah. Well, because
his
technically
record company, or his, especially for this older album, which was on a major label, might still have problems.
And when that song came out, everybody was like, wow, this guy gets it. I mean,
right.
The internet was completely unknown at that art.
And if you remember in the video too, he dressed like a nerd with a pocket protector and the whole bit there, and he's mowing his lawn and waving at his homies.
Well, he also did White and Nerdy too. Like instead of Driving Dirty, he did White and Nerdy.
Yep.
Emo Phillips was in that video too, if you know who he is.
Well, yeah, I know Emo. Yeah.
He got white out all over your screen.
Yeah, white out all over your screen. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird Al did one on the Amish is also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's good.
Amish Paradise.
Yeah.
Amish Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one where the guy got upset about it, right? Was it Gangster's Paradise or was it Smuggler's Paradise?
No.
He apparently had gotten permission, but it was through the agent or something, and not through
the artist. Yeah, because and so the artist was a little bit.
They finally
upset
settled it years later, though they're okay now. But
yeah. Jenna's asking, is there a local number I can dial up for that internet thing? Yes. It's
a CompuServe dial-up number, I think, isn't it?
All about the Pentiums, baby. Yeah. I mean, I remember back in even right around the time of Windows 95, right before I had switched to ISPs, I started using AOL when it was still an hourly service, where you paid $20 a month for like 2 hours and then you had to pay by the hour. And I didn't realize that. And when I first discovered chat rooms and you're chatting with people and this is so cool. I'm chatting with people. And then you get that first bill where it's that $20 bill has now gone up to like $60, $80, $100 for your AOL bill for the month. And it's just like, holy crap. And then the ISPs for unlimited usage for $19.95 a month. That sounded really interesting now. So I think I'm switching to the ISP, baby. So, yeah, bulletin boards too. Before that, I never got into BBSs on the CoCo, just because I had a modem at the time, but I felt the screen was so restrictive. I didn't think it was really that great of an experience on the 32-column screen. But I really got into BBSs on my Tandy 1000. I was on a bunch of them, and I ran one for a while. Does anybody remember that? I don't know if it was called World War IV or WWIV, but that was the BBS I ran for a long time. It was called WWIV. The source code was in Turbo Pascal, and you could modify it and recompile it and run it and stuff. It did ANSI graphics, did all kinds of crazy stuff. I remember running that for a long time.
We had different ones in New York. In New York, we had Connection 80 was one of the first BBS software programs that was on the TRS-80. And I ran one of those. And then I upgraded to TBBS, which was an assembler, written in assembler. A Connection 80 had an assembler serial routine, and the rest of the code was in BASIC. And I heavily modified it. I added passwords, I added message threads, I did a lot of different things. Then I switched over to, on my Atari ST, I got Mitchtron BBS, which let me run a 2-line BBS.
Oh, wow.
I had a 2-line BBS on my Atari ST.
Yeah, I had a 2-line on mine. My CoCo one was when I first got it was none, and I ran a Disk Basic one. It was based on Raiden board originally from Rainbow, but Bill Noble and I really hacked the crap out of it and did the same thing you did. Basically, we added message boards and online games and stuff, and I ran that from it was February of '83 on, and I finally shut the OS 9 version down in '91, I think.
Yeah, Mikey says he ran his friend ran WWIV back in high school. Yeah, that was right out of high school when I got into the WWIV, like around 86, 87.
I used to use my CoCo to log in. I would use VIP term for the high-res screen.
I remember I found a BBS. I don't remember where I found it. I don't remember how I figured out how to use it, but it was all ran from a DOS prompt, and you had to compile all your menus. So you had to like create the menus in a text file, run it through a compiler, and it generated the code. And I ended up creating a fairly elaborate BBS that I had to figure out how to use all the tools. And it wasn't like WWIV where you had a source code. It was an exe file, but I ended up using a disk hex editor tool, and I went into the files, and I ended up modifying some of the prompts inside there just by changing some of the readable text that was on the actual disk in a hex editor.
A lot of them, the early ones came with the modems when you bought a modem.
Oh, yeah. And I actually had written a online adventure game that I wrote myself in Quick Basic that was an interactive adventure game you could play through the BBS, and I ran it through like an auxiliary driver. So instead of outputting it to the screen, I output it to this auxiliary driver, which was then kind of running through the BBS type thing. So I had done my own little custom online game for my BBS and stuff. Curtis says he had one called Mustang, huh? I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, I remember at the time, most of the ones we dialed into at the time when I first started were WWIV-based BBSs, and then when the whole FidoNet thing took over, every BBS you logged into said it was part of FidoNet or something, had a little picture of the dog come up in text and everything. And then that kind of became like the standard for a while there. Whatever the hell FidoNet was.
Around here, the big one was Microlink.
FidoNet.
There was RBBS.
Mustang was a big one. But
RBBS was the one where if you wanted to send a message to someone in California on a different BBS, instead of direct dialing and incurring a long-distance charge, remember long-distance charges?
Oh, yeah.
You would go on your local RBBS, you would post a message using his server number and his username, and then every night the RBBS systems would link up and send each other messages back and forth. And eventually, just like the internet became, your message would make its way across country and get to that server eventually.
Are you talking about FidoNet?
It was before FidoNet.
That was FidoNet.
Yeah, on RBBS.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember FidoNet. I remember like the bulletin boards all kind of ended up becoming FidoNet. Yeah, but it wasn't long distance. Wasn't that thing where you could go to a BBS and get a list of codes that you could use to dial long distance and not have to pay for it?
Captain Crunch.
That's what I always remember doing, was downloading all those long distance codes, downloading a list of telephone codes.
A friend of mine had one of those. One of my famous friends had a blue box, which you'd hold up to a phone and you could dial a number.
2600.
Yeah. Thanks to Bell publishing their technical journals the entire way the phone system worked, what all the tones did. Their magazine or the book versions of that came out later from 54 to 56 and explained how the entire darn thing worked.
Well, that's how Woz and Jobs got started.
Yep.
They were building blue boxes and selling them. And then the famous Captain Crunch, who was a friend of Woz and Jobs, took this whistle from a Captain Crunch box, how he got his name, and you could use that whistle to control the phone and make long distance calls.
Yeah, because it did that exact 2600 hertz signal.
Yeah. How's that pizza, Curtis? Is it good? Is it thin crust? Is it crispy?
Oh yeah, nice and crispy.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
That's right.
Yeah, and by everybody I mean me.
Oh, you know, I watched a movie last night. It's not a brand new movie. It's probably a couple years old. But has anybody heard of that movie Dunkirk?
No.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it takes. I guess it's around World War II time, and this is when they were bombing an island between like France and England, and the English and French were trying to like protect this beach, and they were getting the crap bombed out of them, and they were kind of stranded there. So it was like they're trying to get these guys off the island. Well, it's a pretty cool movie. Good if you like war movies. It was done pretty well. It's historical and stuff. But a couple of the guys in there ended up becoming in Ready Player One. So the guy who played Wade Watts was in it, and the father who was like piloting this ship all the way to help people get off. He was the guy who played the programmer, whose name I can't think of right. James Halliday. So the guy who played James Halliday was in it, and the guy who played Wade Watts. So at least two of the actors, main lead and actors of Ready Player One were in this Dunkirk movie. So I thought that was kind of cool because the movie's older, but it was new to me to see it. So it's kind of cool to see some actors from a newer movie in an older movie together. So
I haven't seen Ready Player One yet, but I read an article that talked about all the different Easter eggs in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a Battlestar Galactica Viper hanging from the ceiling in one.
Oh,
scene.
there's so much stuff in there. Yeah.
The
I'm not gonna. I don't want to ruin it for you, but everybody dies in the end. Oh, did I ruin it?
Jeez.
So, yeah. Yeah, completely. It's the essence of the story is the same as the book, but they changed a ton of stuff. Obviously, the CoCo's not in there, which is what I was coming to see. Yeah, but the heart of the story is still there. It's just kind of it's a PG-13 version of the book for millennials. Is kind of
Plus,
what
they modernized it because a lot of the younger audience wouldn't understand all these old references too. Right?
Yeah. And if you think about this, you guys all saw the original Jurassic Park, right? Steven Spielberg did that one based on the Michael Crichton book. Well, if you read the original book of Michael Crichton, it was an R-rated book, and there was a lot of violence, and almost everybody died at the end of Jurassic Park, including John Hammond. John Hammond died. Almost everybody died. So there wasn't a super-duper happy ending to the Jurassic Park book, but somehow Steven Spielberg ended up making it kind of a feel-good thing, and almost everybody lives. So Steven Spielberg will do that. He'll give you the Hollywood ending, and he's gonna make a PG-13 movie at best. Which is not bad. You're gonna sell a lot more tickets.
And you keep characters alive for sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, now we know the dinosaurs were all actually have feathers too. That's just not known at the time they made it. So.
Right.
We all went from my office to go see that movie together, and then the day after, they come into the office in the morning and they all look at me and they go,
Oh yeah,
you didn't say the magic word. Yeah, so
Newman.
Yeah, when I heard about it, before we'd even seen the trailers, but when I knew the movie was going to come out, I went ahead and I grabbed the paperback and I read it. And I thought it was a great story. Michael Crichton's a great author. He went to medical school. So, I mean, everything he did.
And Andromeda Strain was a good one of his, too.
Yeah. So it was all kind of based on science fact, and it was really just taking the next leap of what we could do. So it was a lot more science fact than it was science fiction.
Do you remember when the girl was looking at the computer and there were all these like green vector buildings flying by? She's like,
"Oh yeah,
it's Unix.
It's a Unix system. I know this." Yeah, she's like panning through the part to log in and stuff like that.
What a great GUI that was. It was like,
yeah.
That was HP OpenView, I believe, was the.
Do that in OS 9, Curtis.
It's a Unix system.
I could. It would be slow, but I can do it.
Yeah. So Ready Player One is a similar thing where you had a story that was a lot more grittier, a lot more violent, and people were murdered left and right in Ready Player One. Nolan Sorrento was a much bigger asshole in the book than he was. They kind of made him like a buffoon version of the character. He was kind of like this bumbling bad guy. He wasn't anywhere near as determined or as evil as he was in the book.
And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you
meddling kids. Oh yeah.
I think they'd learn after a while. Every week it's the same. It's always an old man trying to protect artwork.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So good times. All right. So what's the topic tonight? What are we talking about?
That's the topic. The topic is what's the topic?
The topic is what's the topic? Yeah, I have. Just to show you guys here for just a second, I'm going to drag the icons over here so you guys can see it. So if you guys want to get that free Assassin's Creed game, you got to go to Ubisoft.com. You're going to have to install this Uplay thing. This is kind of like their Steam or whatever. And when you create an account, you get this Uplay thing, and then you're going to get the free download to Assassin's Creed Unity, which I have now downloaded. And I will definitely be doing some live streaming on that. That was my first Assassin's Creed game I ever played. I really loved the story and the characters. I think when it was released, it was kind of bashed because of some bugs in the initial release. They were also, and I think some of the bugs were around the multiplayer part of it, and they were really trying to promote this whole multiplayer, play with your friends online. So there was a number of missions that could only be completed if you played with friends in the game, and I think the early release and the multiplayer parts maybe had bugs, although I never experienced them myself, but when I played the game, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story and the characters. You meet Napoleon, you meet a lot of Marquis de Sade, you meet a lot of historical characters. You get to visit Notre Dame. It all takes place in various parts of Paris and France.
This almost sounds like Bedlam.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, in a way it kind of is.
By the way, that was a 50 gig download too.
Yeah, big ass program.
My first hard drive was only 13 megabytes.
Yeah.
You played Bedlam in one of your things, Steve.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I watched that.
Yeah, surprisingly, it actually beat it too, which doesn't always happen.
And Bedlam was only about 8K.
You got the magic door, right?
I think that
Or
one was.
Napoleon painted the door for you, or somebody.
Yeah,
painted the door for you?
I think that I don't remember, but it might have been. Yeah. So one of the doors can be opened, and that's your way out. I remember one time poisoning the dog by putting the pill in the meat and poisoning the dog and drugging the dog, and that got you out.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if I ever bookmarked it, but I remember somebody sending me the link saying, here's a guy who was like disassembled it and really got into the logic and had a whole website showing you all the internals and kind of really explained the internals really well on
And
the
all the
whole.
paths?
Just on the logic and how the game engine worked and things like that. So it was a really cool breakdown, kind of the dissection of that kind of adventure game engine and stuff like that. I don't remember where that website is, but I'd love to find it again.
Yeah, because if I remember, they were written by Robert Arnstein, who did the same. Well, he did Racketeer Pyramid 2000.
Yeah.
Bedlam. He also did like Project Nebula. I think he did some other games. Like we might have done Polaris and a few others too. And he also did for those 3 adventure games. He did versions for the Model 1 and 3 before he did the CoCo one. Right.
But supposedly they're all based off of some type of adventure game engine that he wrote, and I think the guy was even just getting into some of the differences in the adventure game engines and how Bedlam was a little bit different with how it parsed incomplete statements and things like that. So it really kind of just really explained a lot of the kind of behind the scenes of the software science of the interpreter and all stuff like that. I thought it was kind of interesting to read in a geeky kind of way. And there's a lady on Facebook now who's been posting a lot of stuff too, where she's trying to replay a lot of these text adventures. She's mentioning Pyramid. She's mentioned the Colossal Cave for OS 9. I don't remember her name, but she's been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook. I've been meaning to tag some of those to bring them up on a future show. So I don't remember her name, but she's been somewhat new to posting recently in about the past month or so, but she's been posting a lot of questions about text adventures on the CoCo. Which is that's something near and dear to me too. That's kind of what got me interested in the computers, was more of the text adventure than anything else. So
yeah, the very first text adventures I played actually were the Mark Data ones, Calixto Island and Black Sanctum, before the graphic versions came out a couple years later.
Yeah, mine were the stock cassette ones that you could buy in the store, because that's all I knew about at the time. I didn't know about the Rainbow when I first got my CoCo.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But Pyramid and Racketeer and Bedlam, those were all in the Madness and the Minotaur. So I actually had all those on cassette and played them.
Back even further. My friend Tom and I would buy the Adventure International text adventures. And he'd buy one, I'd buy another, and then we'd swap, and we wouldn't tell each other the solution. We'd figure it out, and then
I don't think I ever solved Pyramid. So I think I don't know if I ever solved Sands of Egypt. If I did, I probably did it with help, because I don't know if I could ever figure it out on my own. That game was a bitch, because it didn't follow any type of actual logic. Like, you could go west 4 different times and and wrap
And then
around.
and then you're at a different spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, what the hell is going on here? It's this most weird logic in the world.
I posted a link, Stevie, on the YouTube chat that I think is the one you're talking about the Bedlam details and the engine and how it changed and stuff.
This could be it. Let's bring it over here and take a look at it. Code links, disassembled code. Here's a questionnaire, tour guide. References, the evolution of the engine. Yeah, this might have been the one. Yeah, so a year later, the engine in Bedlam is almost identical to that of Raka 2. The RAM usage is identical. Bedlam adds the needed automatic more prompt in the print routine. The pyramid left out. So like if it's scrolling, it'll say more. Bedlam adds the ability to give a command to an object. For example, you can tell Napoleon get key. Yeah, so yeah, I did find this kind of interesting. Let's post. Did you post that in the YouTube chat too?
Yes, it's in the YouTube chat.
Okay, so I'm going to repost that into the Restream chat. So if anybody's watching this on Facebook and you want to see the link too, I'll just repost that. Yeah, no, I thought this was an interesting read. It's kind of getting into some of the behind the scenes. So it talks about different possible solutions. I don't know if it's going to tell you how you're going to know if you've got that solution or not. But yeah, it was interesting.
It's randomly picked each time you run it. So
yeah. Now, who was the author of this? Is anybody we know?
The author of this page, you mean?
The author of this page, yeah.
Ooh, that I don't.
This computer archaeology. Let's go to home and see if we can see. This website is digging up forgotten computer systems. References, dig sites, adventure tests. Let's see. Let's go to contact and see. I don't feel like reading too much. If I go to contact,
Topher Cantrell is what his GitHub is.
Okay, Topher.
Yeah.
Okay, Topher. All right.
Obviously named after Spider-Man.
You lost me on that one.
Topher Grace.
You still lost me.
Topher Grace was the actor for Spider-Man the movies. Some of them.
Or he was Venom, wasn't he? Or was he?
No, it was Tobey
Topher
Maguire.
Grace was that 70s show.
Tobey Maguire.
Oh, yeah,
was
sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Topher Grace was Venom.
Topher Grace is a 70s show. You're right.
Well, he played Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. So yeah, no, that's interesting. It was an interesting read. So yeah, I'd like to read up on that again. Now I think that name sounds familiar though, Topher, whatever. I think he posted some stuff on Facebook not too long ago. So yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah, that got me the text adventure. I was interested in that because I was 12 years old. I was playing like Dungeons and Dragons, and I was used to that whole using your imagination to imagine where you are. But Dungeons and Dragons required a dungeon master and a handful of people to play, and you couldn't always gather that group at a minute's notice. So to me, like a text adventure was like a single player version of that. You can still use your imagination. You still have to think about things, interact with things. And so that was appealing to me, was being able to, do these kind of solo adventures,
It's the same here. And then the other thing that I did at the same time for the solo version was also the choose your own adventure books, which were just coming around that time.
Yeah, there was so Dungeons and Dragons was made by TSR Hobbies at the time, and there was another company called Heritage that made a bunch of role-playing games and stuff too. And one of the earliest ones I'd gotten from them, which came in a little box, but it was a game called Barbarian Prince, and it had a big giant map of a wilderness broken up into hexes. You had like a little pewter figure of your dude. You had a book, and you rolled dice, and you had to turn to different pages in the book to tell you what was going to happen, and you had to move your guy around the map and stuff. And so that was kind of like, an interesting thing. And Heritage used to make a lot of these pewter figures, and I've still in my garage, I've got boxes and boxes of them. So you can make all the pewter figures and paint them yourself, so you can make up your characters to play, to represent yourself in Dungeons and Dragons. And they actually had a series of games too. I have a bunch of books for those that was called Knights and Magic. And it kind of played like D&D, but the only difference was you used your figures and you actually had to move them off on your battlefield, and everything had moved in a certain number of inches, and when you fire your arrows, they could fire certain inches. So you actually played like and you had to build your own set. So we were getting like the fake grass and the fake trees and the moss and all that stuff to build up our little outdoor battle arenas, and we used to fight each other with our little metal dudes and stuff, and it was kind of cool. This is all like, I was about 14 years old around this time when I was doing all this crap, and it was fun. And so all that stuff kind of got me interested in the CoCo and the adventure games and stuff like that,
My son did some of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
one of the fun things was getting good at painting the figures.
Yeah, and that had to be like a requirement. Like you couldn't bring in any half-assed, non-painted, sloppy-looking thing. You had to, you had to invest something into your figure, or you couldn't use them. Couldn't put them on the table if you looked like crap. We had standards.
There was a similar game for us Star Trek geeks called Starfleet Battles.
Ah.
And you would get the starships and you would paint them up. And then there would be expansion sets with other races. So instead of the ones in the show, Starfleet, Romulans, Klingons, they made up all these other races, and you could have ships that you've never even seen before. People would get really imaginative coming up with these new ships. And of course, then you had to paint them up, and you had to do a nice job. And
yeah,
there was this comic book store in Midtown Manhattan, and they had a side room where all the gamers could go, and there'd be tables set up, and you could play all the different kinds of games there.
Yeah. Hey, Jenna's taken off, but she also asked a question about an adventure game on the CoCo called Sequest. Does anybody know about that?
Yes, I'm trying to remember. Is that one of the Infocom, or was that one of the Mark Data Products ones?
I'm assuming it's not related to the TV show of the same.
Yeah. Well, have a good night, Jenna.
Infocom.
Yeah.
What's that?
Infocom is what Brian says he thinks it might have been.
Yeah, because Mark Data had one they had to rename, I think because of the TV show, and I thought that was Sequest. They later renamed Sea Search or something, but I didn't remember that wrong. It was one of their graphical adventure games, if it's that one. But otherwise, yeah, Infocom had a bunch too. They might have had that one. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it'll be on somebody's game site. I should check.
If only there was a source on the internet out there for that.
Oh, that's so far behind now. I've got less than half the CoCo games are on my site.
Yeah, you need to hire some staff.
Yeah, Sequest, Sea Search.
Sequest/Sea Search. Okay.
I will post a link. You want it on YouTube or in the Zoom chat?
I'm gonna put it in the YouTube where other people can see it. Sequest. Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you have to maybe spell the name wrong sometimes to get it to say it right, like how it thinks it wants to pronounce certain things?
Yeah, sometimes I like Steve. It's just like I actually broke it apart into different pieces.
Ron, are you talking to somebody? Are you falling asleep? Are you meditating? What's going on? Ron's on the phone. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if he was dozing off and holding his head up there for a minute there, but now he's talking on the phone. We're putting Ron to sleep here. So
send help.
Using his old Radio Shack flip phone?
What happened?
I said, is he using his old Radio Shack flip phone?
Oh, he might be. Radio Shack flip phone. What are you showing us here, Brian Schubring?
That's the Vocaloid software right there.
Ah.
If you look closely, you can see, exactly how I have. Let's make sure. Yeah. Is it backwards? That's backwards.
No,
it looks
not
fine
for
to me.
us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's what I do right there. Is that it said Steven Stroh, and I just patch it in, put the names in, and say, oh, I'm going to have about this key here and that. So just let her rip.
Neat. It's amazing how it can take, it can sing. It can sing words.
Oh, we had a CoCo voice synthesizer back in the day that used to do that. Real Talker could sing. Sort of. I don't think I caught Jenna in time with Sequest /
send her a message on Facebook or something.
So which one, Real Talker was Alpha Products or Real Talker was Speech Systems? Or was Real Talker Colorware?
Systems, I think. No, maybe not. Was it Colorware, maybe?
Colorware, yeah.
Yeah. Same guys who did CoCo Max, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's colorware. So
Yeah, colorware / Alpha Products, Alpha Soft or whatever. The hardware division was Alpha, and colorware is software.
No, colorware did hardware. Even though Zebra and colorware were related, we had one of the owners was the same guy. We often competed with different products. You know?
I thought they did the A-Bus, though, and they marketed that under a different company name.
I don't know. I wasn't in the Alpha Products storefront all that much. I used to go in to help out shipping when they got behind, but I didn't do product development for Alpha. I did do some product development for colorware, but mostly I worked for Zebra and Spectrum projects. I would go back and forth between the two companies.
Actually, I've got some details on my website about C-Search and Sequest, just before I forget to mention. I'll quit yakking about it. But apparently, I talked to Bob Withers and Stephen Odia because they had published the PC versions of these games they did for CJA afterwards and up for free. But he said C-Search was originally called Sequest until Activision threatened to sue them over the name because of their Atari 2600 game of the same name.
Formerly Sequest. Here's your different title screens here too. Mark Data presents Sequest by Stephen and Kathy O'Day, Bob and Dolly Withers. Copyright 1983. Interesting. Okay, original Sequest and newer Sequest. Okay, you're on a sandy beach. Obvious directions east and west. You see the ocean, a waterfall, a sign. Welcome to Sequest. Yeah, this is a good job of dithering too. So you got like your light blues and your
Yellows.
Sands and your dark browns. Yeah,
and they're animated too, like the waterfall range and stuff. So
maybe this would be a good article for the new Rainbow.
Is also ported to IBM PC.
Yeah, they used to have a website up with all the PC ones you could download. They were CJ DOS based, but you could download them all. They had Trek Bore and Vortex Factor.
Oh, it would fit on tape, huh? Wow.
32K on tape, yeah. The entire game, all of their graphic adventure games.
Oh, and there's a bin file for it?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so we can actually download it. Yeah, I'd be curious to try it.
That whole series was really good. It was amazing they fit those on cassette, though. And like single load 32K, the whole game was in there. Graphics and all.
Wow.
Is that the one with the Leprechaun one, too? The Irish theme
Shenanigans,
one?
yep.
Shenanigans.
Oh, that one.
Always after me, Lucky Charms. Hey, Ron, you back?
Yeah.
Sea Stalker. What is that? That's a different one.
Where?
Sea Stalker's the Infocom one.
Oh, the Infocom one. That's what Brian's holding up. Sea Stalker.
Yeah, that's a text adventure game. Is that the one that had the special colored, like almost like plastic lenses you had to see if you wanted to cheat? So you have to hold it over top something that was red or something, and you could only read the text if you had this plastic over top of the.
Okay.
Yeah, because red paper wouldn't Xerox; it would just come out black.
Yeah,
Wasn't that,
but it also hit the words.
that too?
If I remember, yeah, there it is. The red.
Invisiclues, isn't that? Yeah. Wasn't that what they?
Yeah, they called it something like that.
A lot of games use that. The original SimCity used that also.
Wow. Hey, Tom C is joining us on YouTube now.
I remember playing SimCity for the first time, and I played it for like 3 or 4 hours straight at my friend's house. I was so into it.
Yeah, I kind of skipped that. I never got exposed to those or had an interest for those. I don't know why.
Oh, I just love seeing little cars little dots that were cars driving on the roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play too much of those either. I think the closest I came was the CoCo Biosphere game that was, kind of you genetically engineered animals and plants. You threw them on a planet, and then you just let evolution run amok and see how fast. Well, you're supposed to make the planet balance out and survive, but you'd usually kill them off.
Yeah, there was Simmer that did that on the PC.
Yeah.
And then they had SimAnt that did.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Oh, I bought SimEarth. I like SimEarth. I used to like to make cars.
What the hell was that, Brian?
Brian is serenading us.
Yeah.
Brian's gotta get it to transmogrify. You're too kind.
Yeah, get it to say thank
Sorry
you.
about
You're
that. I
too
had
kind.
that going on to the wrong mix. I've got multiple mixes going now, and I forgot to switch it back, and it overtook my mic.
Hey, get it to say Nick Marotta 3 times in a row. Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta. And then we're going to make that a soundbite.
You'll have to help him with the spelling, I think. Or if he spells it phonetically, he'll probably pronounce it wrong.
Remember that guy that found the girl that was trapped in somebody's basement with some other women? and he made some statements to the news, and then they took his statements and they turned it into a rap song, and it was like a popular song.
Oh wow!
No, I don't remember that one.
They used software like that to make his voice sound like he was singing, and they took the words that he said and
Like auto-tuned him or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a kidnapper guy.
Well, he wasn't the kidnapper. He was the neighbor who would sit on the porch.
Oh.
And he was this black guy missing teeth, and he said he was just going out to get a Whopper or something, and he comes back and he sees the girl hanging out at the bottom of the dog door, screaming, "Help me, help me."
Oh wow!
And he's like, she had to be real brave to ask a black guy for help.
Wow!
He literally said something like that, not exactly that, but they took those words that he said and turned it into a song.
I mean, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember hearing it. But yeah, I mean, that story sounds like one I remember hearing.
It was on talk radio a lot back then. I'm a talk radio junkie.
Good times. Well, what do we say? Have we beat this one to death? Have we had enough CoCo Talk? We've got BOGO, buy one get one. Get one CoCo Talk during the day, get a free episode at night. Have we saturated the market enough for one day?
I'll give out one more teaser first.
One more teaser.
The new segment we did today, where we did the palette changes on those 4 games. The actual release we're doing by the end of the week is actually going to have a few other games added on, also with palette changes. So look forward to that.
Which games are these?
Sorry?
These are in end of use or ease of use?
No, these are games where we're changing the palettes on the CoCo 3 so you can get more accurate colors.
Or just better looking colors.
Yeah.
And will there be a communications program in there somewhere?
Nope.
There's no need to change the palette of a communications program.
No, I'm not. I'm not in relation to that at all.
Oh, sorry. What were you asking about that? I thought you were talking about in relation to that too.
No. Isn't there a
There have to be OS9 terminal programs.
Yeah.
Well, there's quite a few of them. I haven't had a chance to test them because I don't have my RS-232 pack set up in my system, so I haven't really told people about them because I haven't been able to test to see if they still work. But there's Supercom's pre-installed. I think KBCom might be pre-installed. There's probably a few of them. OS term should be on there, I think. Camera Effects Com 9's on there or not.
Just got to go look for them, huh?
Yeah, Supercom for sure is on there. I have not tested it on a real RS-232 pack though, so your mileage may vary.
Mikey's asking who won the speech sound pack today. And the person that I'm sending one to, his name is Andrew John Bodner. And Simon Jonason is going to send one to David O'Connor. So we're actually sending out 2 speech sound packs today. And Mike Terry has been here for a while, but hasn't said anything. Mike, can you hear us? Mike Terry's been kind of here in the Zoom call, but hasn't said anything.
Lurking.
He said he can, but he has no mic.
Ah, okay.
He just texted that in the Zoom chat. So.
Ah, okay. So Andrew John Bodner is the one who got the speech sound pack from the U.S. and then in our foreign markets that went to David O'Connor, and Simon Jonason is going to send his own personal one out. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
I've got a gift for Nick.
Uh-oh.
Hello, how are you? I was wondering if you're working on that. Okay, let's hear it.
Make sure you send it to the right bus.
Nick Marota, Nick Marota, Nick Marota, Nick.
Just need some ukulele accompaniment to be perfect.
Yes, Nick Marota.
That'll be the extended dance.
Nick Marota. Nick Marota.
What key is that in? So I know what to
Gotta
play.
get it done like that one you have for David Ladd. David Ladd.
MC10, David
Yeah,
Ladd.
I like that. That was really cool.
David Ladd.
Are we going to hear it again?
Let's hear it again.
Marota, Nick Marota, Nick Marota, Nick Marota.
Sounds a bit like an alarm.
Is that me or does it sound like Michael Jackson?
Sounds like an alarm.
Yeah, that would wake me up.
Security alarm.
Like, what the hell's making that Nick Marota noise?
Intruder alert.
What I meant by hearing it again was it's going to be in your roster of stuff.
Yeah, we should. If Brian sends me that, I will. If you send me that WAV file
Thanks,
or MP3
Ron.
file,
Thank you,
we'll put it.
Ron.
We'll put it in the soundboard.
You're a good friend, Ron.
That's right.
Nick Marota, Nick Marota.
Well, I can add effects also and make it sound more robotic if I really want.
I like it. I like it.
Make it sound like a
Cool.
Can we get a
Timberman.
deeper? Can we get a deeper voice? Nick Marota, baby. Give me like a Barry White on there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Robert De Niro voice or something. Yeah.
Nick
Talking to me.
Ladies
Talking
and
to me.
gentlemen. You talking to me? Yeah, I'm walking here. Yeah. Nick Marota.
We're waiting.
James Earl Jones.
Nick Marota, Nick Marota, Nick.
Ooh, that was disturbing.
That is. That's kind of creepy.
That's a little David Laddish.
Yes. Slightly on the creepy side. Yes.
If you guys are looking for something good to watch, I've been watching on Amazon Prime. It's called Electric Dreams.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick, right?
Yep, it's an anthology series. It's kind of like a science fiction Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And the first couple episodes are pretty good. I'm on the third episode, but the first one is incredible.
He's the one who did like Total Recall and stuff, and Blade Runner.
Yeah, yep, Blade Runner.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see
Which is
that.
based on I Dream of Electric Sheep or something like that, isn't it?
Like an android's dream of electric sheep. Yeah, that's a short story that Blade Runner was
And
based
Total
on.
Recall was based on a short story too. We can dream that for you wholesale or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, I didn't know
Philip
that.
K. Dick.
I believe so.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like partway through the series, like
Well, supposedly on I forgot what it was. Maybe it was Amazon Prime or one of these other not Netflix streaming series. There was a bunch of short episodes based on Philip K. Dick stories. I forgot what it was called, but one of the streaming networks was doing
I
that.
think that's what he's talking about, isn't it? The Electric
Yeah,
Dream.
it's called Electric Dreams.
Oh, Electric Dreams. Okay.
There's like 10 episodes.
Yep. And
Okay.
I haven't started watching it, but there's also the new Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I've heard
Okay.
that's really good.
The first one you can get for free on YouTube, but it's on Netflix, I think.
No, it's on CBS All Access.
Yeah,
Oh, it might be on-
screw
it might- yeah, it's on CBS All Access.
But the first episode is on YouTube.
So here's my problem with this. There's too many damn streaming services.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody's gonna do their own network and have their own exclusive content. But when you add all these things up,
Well, you're back
you
to
know,
cable.
It's
Right?
cable
you're paying more than cable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Netflix. I mean, I don't mind spending $12 or $14 a month for Netflix because it has a lot. Now, for over a year now, we have not had cable TV, and my wife just now conned me into letting her upgrade to Hulu with live TV without commercials now, so she can watch just about anything on either live or it has a built-in DVR now, and she can also watch replays. And that's like $50 a month, though. But that's still cheaper than cable, and we're still probably getting 80% of what we would have watched on cable anyways.
Yeah, you're getting all the
But-
network TVs.
You're getting all the network TVs, including NFL, which she's a big football fan, and we didn't get to watch any of the games last year. So she wasn't happy about that. But, I mean, I'm looking at that now. We just added Hulu. We're paying almost $60 a month because it's the live TV plus no commercials, plus my Netflix subscription. Now I'm up to, $75 a month for stuff. I just start to think that's a lot of money. And that's
Disney's
just
coming out with their own.
And that's just two. Yes, now there's the DC universe. DC's got one. Marvel's going to be coming out. Disney's coming out with theirs, which will have Disney and Marvel and all the other crap they've bought up.
and a few others, yeah.
Pixar, right? CBS All Access. Then there's Hulu. Then there's Amazon Prime, which I have Amazon Prime or Prime Video because I have Amazon Prime, but I've never watched it because they don't have a decent app for it. So I don't know. There's just too many streaming services, and it's only going to further. And then there's CBS All Access. If you were to pay for all these things now, you're probably paying $200 or $300 a month.
Yeah, it's worse.
It's retarded. So
this is why BitTorrent has been rising in usage again.
yeah. So it's like.
Well, I get the $5.99 Hulu. That gives me a lot of my shows.
Yeah,
My Cox cable put a throttle on us. So a couple weeks ago, we got a bill, and it said they added $10 and $10 for extra megabytes because we went over.
Wow.
How do you like that?
So you have a limit. You have a limit on your end.
No, Ron's on the unlimited plan. That's how it works. If you
What?
use too much bandwidth, they throttle you and they charge you extra.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
we,
is that
we have
unlimited?
real unlimited up here in Canada, so
Yeah,
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's not all
they still see
you can eat. It's all they want you to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all you can eat for $1.
Oh, that was Curtis Boyle. That's what that sounded like to me.
Yeah, kind of.
We get most of those in Canada. We don't get Hulu, but we get another one, Crave.
that sounded like my own voice there about 2 years ago when I hit puberty.
Oh.
Ah!
2 years ago, huh?
If that's true, then you're not the oldest Canadian.
I'm over half a century. How far are you along?
I'm at the half century.
All right. All right, so what do you say? Have we beat this show to death?
Only if you say so.
I think we have. It's coming
Have
up
we
on
picked a
midnight
topic
for me. No, screw the topic.
Okay, no topic.
I had my camera plugged into this laptop. I'm taking a sip of my Diet Dr. Thunder.
Ah, Dr. Thunder. The thunder from down under.
Sit here to see it.
Yeah. Well, we did it. So, yeah, this was, we just kind of said, we're going to do an After Dark. We just started the After Dark, and it kind of became a thing, and we're here. Yeah, it was fun. We're here talking.
We had a lot of retro talk tonight about the PC.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah. Got a lot of good retro talk, BBS talk, MS-DOS talk, Windows 98 talk, Windows 3.1 talk, all kinds of good stuff in here.
And computer talk.
Computer talk. We got to hear the computers actually sing to us.
Computer singing, cats and dogs living together.
I still have my Gateway color book that I bought in July of '95, a month before Windows 95 came out. And it came with a free upgrade to Windows 95.
Ooh.
It came with Windows 98, but Windows 3.1 and with a free upgrade to 95.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Stroh would like to go.
Ron, is it okay if I take a bathroom break before we go? I wanted to raise my hand and ask a question here. So,
Hey, Ron, what are you doing? You're not keeping us going to the bathroom.
Do you want to use mine? Mine's right over here.
Ron, are you drinking enough? Because normally you have to go to the bathroom during the show.
Let's see. It says that our humidity is 27%.
Hold on.
No, I'm doing it.
Amazon, what's the weather?
Arizona time. Cool. Well, this was fun. Two entertaining conversations in one day. Two group calls. Good stuff. If nobody else cares about what we're talking about, we're interested in what we're talking about ourselves. So we are our own best audience. And there's at least 8 other people who might not be us already watching.
And we had a girl.
We had Jenna was here. We didn't scare her away. That was good.
Is that Jennifer or is that?
Yeah. So yeah, good times. Mikey's still out there.
Said she was going to work on a new game. I wonder whatever happened to that.
Yeah. We'll see it.
Well, tonight she says she was on the tail end of a game project.
Yeah, working on a project for a job.
Is she going to go to the festival?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't believe so, because I think she knows her deadline was going to be too close to it.
Boy, I got to start playing the lottery so I can win and go to CoCo.
Yeah. Mikey says, "Long live CoCoTALK After Dark." Thank you, Mikey. And you need to come join us sometime, Mikey. So we're glad you're here in spirit. We got lots.
Mikey.
We got lots of emotions tonight. The emoji meter is full. 6 likes, 3 loves, 17 ha-has, 17 wows, 1 sad, 1 angry. 2 angries. Okay. So we've run an emotional gamut here. So that's good. Lots of Facebook emojis. That's important. We got to track the emojis, see how they're doing. Doing well and good stuff. All right. Well, thanks, guys. This is good. Good stuff. Good times. Let's go ahead and play the After Dark outro, one of my favorite theme songs that's never gets unstuck from my head. So we're just going to jam into this, and we'll be back for parting thoughts.
It's the sound of silence.
Oh, can you hear it? Oh, we're not sharing audio, huh?
Well,
No, we can't hear it.
All right, this concludes another episode of CoCoTALK After Dark, brought to you by Nick Marotta. This episode contains 3 times more Nick Marotta than any previous episode. Brought to you by the L. Curtis Boyle Curling Iron product line, available at hardware stores near you. All right, good times. Yes.
maybe
Love
we
that.
could have an after dark when everybody logs on with their oldest machine that'll carry.
That'll actually get you on the internet.
Yeah, that'll actually carry a signal.
This computer's so old.
My computer's from 2008. Does that count? It came with Vista, but it's now running Windows 10.
Yeah, that computer's so old it couldn't carry a signal in a bucket.
I think I've got an ME machine back there.
I have a K6450 running VEOS. That has
My K6450 is right over here. Actually, I use it for a barcode scanner for work.
When I worked at CompUSA, the tech shop got a letter and from AMD, and all the tech shop employees could get a motherboard, the chip, and I forget how much RAM, probably like 2 megs of RAM for $55. And you bet I jumped on that.
Yeah. So any of you who have old computers, things I would be interested if you want to part with would be like Creative Labs, Sound Blaster cards, any kind, ISA, PCI, whatever. So if anybody's got any old school Sound Blaster cards, I'd love to get those. And any type of Voodoo 3D FX graphics cards. Those are things that would be really cool for me to put together an epic, awesome Windows 98 gaming PC.
So what you're actually teaching us what to hang on to.
I have, if you need them, Stevie, I have ISA 3Com modems. I think not modems, and I have 3Com network cards. That is.
Nah. I'm not interested in old school communications. I'm just looking for sound and graphics for it for right now. For Windows 98 PC. Looks like Brian Shoebrings.
But an Ethernet card is good to have because you can transfer data from another system that easily.
He's bringing up a goodie.
Right.
He's bringing up a goodie.
Is that a Sound Blaster breakout box? Audigy 2, huh?
Yep, it's in it. It's the one that goes in the machine.
Yeah, the card goes in the machine, and this would take up like where a CD-ROM bay would go, and then give you like all your tuning and tweaking of the sound card, right? Your extra inputs and stuff.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
It has FireWire, MIDI.
Oh wow!
It has optical outputs and inputs, SPDF, headphones, all sorts of good stuff. And
cool.
5.1.
5.1. Ooh, I remember the first Sound Blaster Live came out that it was only 4 channels though, but you got surround sound out of it. It had all the digital signal processing where you could make echo effects and all kinds of stuff. You could do real-time stuff on there. That was cool stuff.
I have one of those Sound Blaster speaker systems, and I was using it in Philadelphia when I moved here to Jersey. It's sitting under my desk. I never got around to hooking it back up to my system. And I'm now 3 systems later than the one I got in Philly.
Yeah, Sound Blaster Live when it first came out was a cool card.
Yeah, I got one in my old machine.
Okay, is that Mike Terry now? I think he got his microphone working because it sounds like he's dropping a bunch of crap in front of it. Mike, do you copy?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and whatever else you're doing in the background there too, yeah.
Oh, it's working. I didn't think it was working. Yeah, I'm looking at some of my old Sound Blaster cards here. I got a couple Sound Blaster Live SBO 200s and 100s.
Ah.
And all-in-wonder ATI X800.
Ooh, I remember having that. I had the ATI card. I had the one. It had a TV tuner built into it.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, the all-in-wonders, and it was.
I loved it.
Yeah, you could actually make live TV be your wallpaper on Windows 98, where you had the TV behind your icons and stuff. It was really cool.
I've done that. Yep.
Yeah.
I had in the late 80s an ATI EGA Wonder that let me use my CGA monitor as if it were an EGA. It would, I don't know how, it would interlace the screen. So the screen looked funky, but you could get better colors and on a CGA monitor.
I had an 8-foot dish, and I fed the signal into my computer, and it was cool to have satellite live TV. You know, I used to look for feeds. They'd have news feeds, you know, and stuff, live feeds from disasters and stuff, and it was pretty cool. It could do screen prints, you know, and save stuff off. It was cool.
C-band?
Yeah.
You know what would be cool?
That's
I mean,
cool
it's
stuff
like
you see in there.
everything that was broadcast in the past, it's still flying through outer space. If there's some way to put a freaking mirror out there and have that stuff bounce back, and we could get our old over-the-air stuff on our tuners, that would be kind of cool, you know?
All the stuff that was never kinescope is still out there.
You know, what's going to happen is the aliens will contact us and say, we've been receiving some really weird stuff, man.
Yeah.
That was Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest, yeah.
Historical transmissions.
Historical documents.
We're looking for Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk.
Yeah, where are they?
There's this horse named Ed.
Yes.
We want to talk to him. He's the first sign of intelligent life we found out in this.
Did Gilligan ever get off the island?
The skipper, too.
When that show was running, people used to write into the TV stations asking that question. Are they ever going to get off the island? Can we help them?
Yeah, that was the original Survivor.
Yeah.
Except they wore clothes.
Yeah.
They actually did a Survivor based on Gilligan's Island. It didn't do very well.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think all the things they could make on the island, they was able to make just about anything, but they could never make a frickin' boat, right? So they made all kinds of stuff to improve the quality of life on the island, but never made a frickin' boat.
And then why would you get a car? Why would you pack that much stuff for a 3-hour tour?
3-hour
They
tour.
were like all their belongings.
I know. Thurston Howell has this huge suitcase full of money. And
I think it's something about tax evasion or something, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Only Captain and Gilligan wore the same clothes every day. Everybody else had like...
And the professor, he wore
And
the
the
white
professor.
shirt and the tan pants. And that was
Ginger never wore the same outfit twice.
Ginger had her sequin gowns and heels.
Yeah.
And Marianne had her farmer's outfit.
And how did all those people end up on the same boat anyways? It's like so many different walks of life and professions. What are the odds that that group of people ended up on that boat, that little tiny boat, for that 3-hour tour? I'm calling shenanigans here.
That's kind of like our show here.
We're a cross section of America here.
Yes,
It's a 3-hour tour.
Well, that's a short episode. So yeah.
Somebody's going to call in. Did you guys get off the show?
Yeah, right. You guys calling in the studio? Are they going to get off this show ever? Because we're kind of tired of hearing it. Yeah.
I think the only one still alive out of that show is Marianne. Is the only one still alive. I think I take that back. Ginger is still kicking it.
Yeah.
Even Marianne, they're the only two still alive.
So, Mike Terry, if you ever want to part with any of these cards, I'd be happy to take them off your hands.
I have no use for them anymore.
Are you going to the fest?
Where's it at exactly?
It's
Tell 'em
Lombard,
your
Illinois.
address. Tell them your address.
I'm in Ohio, so Illinois is not too far away.
Yeah, Lombard, Ohio. Yeah, GlensideCCC.com will give you all the information.
Lombard, Ohio, or Lombard, Illinois?
Illinois.
Lombard, Illinois. Yes, Lombard, Illinois. Is it Lombard with an O or Lombard with a U? I don't remember. Is it Lombard?
L-O-M.
Touch the heron.
Lombard, Illinois. Yeah, man.
Now I know
Voodoo.
Now I know what that means.
Yeah, Sound Blaster cards, Voodoo cards. Those are things that I'm really interested in right now.
I got to go to Gino's East and raise a slice of pizza to Lonnie.
Yeah, we got to find a place to sit down.
Mike Terry, where are you?
I'm in Circleville, Ohio right now.
Okay.
Roundtown.
Where is that in Ohio? Is it southern Ohio?
Yeah, a little bit, about 30 miles south of Columbus.
Okay.
Well, the real question is where are you going to be on the 4th?
And may the 4th be with you. May 4th and 5th is when CoCo Fest is.
May 4th. I will have to see what's going on, but I would love to go.
You just missed Tandy Assembly. Wasn't that far from you, actually?
Yeah, Tandy Assembly's in Ohio too. Yeah.
I will check the website out and I will see what I can do. And if I can get there, you can have these, no cost.
Yeah, if not, you can mail them to me. I'll pay you shipping, whatever. So
you're going to be at CoCo Fest, though, right?
I'll be at CoCo Fest, yeah.
If I get there, I'll bring them to you. If not, I will get in contact with you and I'll mail them to you.
All right, cool. Well,
if you could turn your video on and show us what else you might have.
I don't have a camera hooked up, unfortunately.
Yeah, Ron will show you. Ron will show you some video of his wife if you've got a good enough collection.
Did you see her go by?
Yeah.
You see her duck?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, down here in Circleville, I'm stuck with 9 meg internet, so I can't do much of anything compared to what I used to be able to do.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
Can you still hear me? Yep, you can.
Yeah.
You got another soundbite for us, Brian?
No, I'm trying some new mixing on with this thing to see if I can get better audio.
Okay. Yeah, we hear you just fine. You sound like you're mixed quite well, sir. Shaken, not stirred. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to press the button. We've already done the outro. I'm going to go ahead and hang up on the show. Thank you all who watched us tonight. We've had a number of people in the live chat. As always, we thank you for supporting our show and, our bad habits. Let's go back and take a look at who's been in the live chat this evening. Let's see. Tim Franklin has been here. Nick Marotta has been here. James Jones. Nick Marotta. Curtis Boyle. Mikey has been here. Retro Innovations. Jenna was here. And Nick Marotta. Curtis Boyle. Jenna. Tim Franklin. Curtis Boyle. Nick Marotta. James Jones. Nick Marotta. Mikey, Nick Marotta, Jenna, Tim Franklin. I think we're seeing a pattern here. Who else here? Retro Innovations was here. Jenna, Retro, Nick. Yeah, a lot of chat going on here. Tim Franklin, James Jones. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. Tim Franklin, yeah, I'm just going to keep on scrolling here. Lots of people in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Mikey has been here. If I forgot your name, I apologize, but we love you and we appreciate you. And Grant Leighty was on the show earlier. Jason, the CoCo Man Reichard was on the show earlier. Rick Adams was on the show earlier. A lot of people kind of came and went. Thank you all for being here. And Mike Terry is here now, too. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Al Hartman from Jersey, and Mark Bosley, and the Timberman himself, Ron Delvaux, Brian the Music Man, the Shoe, Nick Marotta, L. Curtis Boyle, and to everyone else, thank you for joining us tonight. In the immortal words of Rick Adams, I'd just like to say...
thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to press the button now. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to support a CoCo charity community somewhere near you. Donate and give generously because these CoCos need all the help they can get. Thank you. Long live and perspire and nanu, and we'll see you next time. All right. Good night. Say good night, everybody.
Did you get it working?
Good night.